All right. Cheers indeed. We are joined on quite possibly the busiest Metal Lab we've ever seen. And it's quite a momentous occasion as it is the weekend before Origins. Origins, a lot of us are traveling on Tuesday. It starts on Wednesday. Heroclix World Championships comes to that. Yesterday, we saw a bunch of players. This week, we're going to see a bunch of podcasters talk about it. We're the guys who always analyze and talk about it from the outside. Sometimes a lot of us do join in, but for the most part, these are the voices that you often hear about the game out in the public, and we're going to get some of our opinions about the upcoming Origins Games Fair. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you guys first, of course, to my regular podcast co-hosts. We have Mr. Tom Kerr.
Greetings, everyone.
We have Mr. Jay Solomon.
Hi, everyone.
All right, and next we're joined by the crew from the T3 Gaming.
What's up, guys?
What's up, everybody?
Great. Feel free to introduce yourselves.
Oh, yeah, I'm Brett, and
I'm Symbio.
Yeah.
All right. And from Clixed we have Mr. Jason Alvey.
Hey, how's it going?
Mr. David Gosselman.
What's up?
Mr. Daniel Powell.
Yo.
From the Starting Over podcast, we have Mr. Edward Sheldon.
Out of the shadows here.
And also kind of in the shadows, from Two Clicks from KO, Mr. Aaron Cantu.
Save the best for last.
In all honesty, it's actually in the order of my icons. But I will try to mess around with it so you guys aren't even prepared for some of the questions or the conversations that we're going to have throughout the day. And we're going to talk about sponsors towards the end of the show, etc. So I want to get right into it. Yesterday, I don't know if any of my fellow casters have watched yesterday's episode where we had a bunch of players on the podcast. But a lot of our initial discussion was with regards to the schedule around Origins. Now, I want to skip into because I found the first question a little bit useless, is what you plan on doing when you get in there. That's none of my business. But what I do want to ask is what you guys overall think of the new Origins Games Fair schedule. And I'm going to start with the fellows at T3 Gaming.
All right, cool. Well, this is both Brett and I's first time going, so we heard about the nightmare scenarios last year.
Yeah.
And so far, apparently, the way I see it, we're flying in Wednesday night. The schedule looks pretty good to me. I like how they separated nationals, worlds, and teams, and they're not freaking smashed together. So it seems like it's going to be really fun. But you veterans can correct us if we're totally out of line there.
Yeah, before you had to kind of you went to nationals and you had to run over to worlds as soon as possible, right? That's how it was before?
I believe last year it was you were in U.S. nationals, and then the first qualifier for team worlds occurred. But then the finals was occurring, and then a lot of people in the top 8 from U.S. nationals were a little upset about this, and
because they couldn't do teams.
Yeah, they weren't gonna be able to do teams, so they started talking about just kind of making the bracket themselves and running through it and being done with it because they're all going to qualify for worlds anyway.
Right.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited. It looks pretty well scheduled this year, but that doesn't mean WizKids will stay on schedule, right?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Fair point. Edward, you're a little bit more versed in the trip to Worlds than a lot of us. What do you think of this year's World Championship schedule with regards to grinders and how they space things out?
I'm going to be honest. I come in expecting a crazy crap show every year. Let me state why. I like the judges. I understand what WizKids is trying to do. They are really lazy because they're cramming nationals into this whole entire party in which it never was there before. And so because they don't want to house another venue and not just make it the East Coast Championship, which what it was, let's not talk, let's not be delusional about it. Historically, the national tournament was the East Coast Championship. And instead of setting up either a Midwest venue, a West Coast venue, or rotating the venue for US Nats, like other game companies, they decided to say hey, we're the big dogs at Origins and we don't want to spend more money. So let's just have this tournament at at the World Championships. And it's just a problem. So I'm expecting it to compound.
It's also lazy, right? It's also lazy, right? It's just lazy planning. That's easier.
Yeah, and the worst part of it is, sorry, I'm
Right.
sorry. But the worst part of it is this. WizKids saw what The Rock was doing and decided competitive is profitable if they did it. And that they could come in at a cheap point of entry and they can do sealed and they can make money off of it. Okay. But instead of saying competitive is profitable, let's really expand what we're going to do for competitive. They've just said like competitive is profitable and we're going to just focus on the profitable part, not focus on the actual experience, because we know in the end these guys are going to come back no matter what, and there's not really any serious competition to WizKids. But that's something for later.
Yeah, there's another topic to discuss later. We're gonna let get Jason's opinion on this one.
Well, I've seen various levels of preparedness from WizKids at these cons over the years, and it's got to be better than last year, hopefully, right?
Dude, I was pre-qualified for nationals and I felt stressed out. Sorry, carry on, Jason.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't play in nationals last year, but I was off to the side, and I heard all the hubbub about guys in top 8 not getting threatened with not having prizing if they didn't do what WizKids told them to do because they wanted to get into Team Worlds. It was kind of a shit show, to be honest. But I don't know. I hope they learn some lessons and do a little better this year. I won't be there, so you guys can tell me about how bad it is.
All right, Daniel, your thoughts?
I think logistically speaking, having each event on each separate day is fine. Worlds qualifiers you can get in on Wednesday, so I think most of us that are getting there Wednesday, like myself, is going to try to get through a grinder pretty quick on Wednesday. So I think it's okay. Just place in the top half of nationals if you're, if Worlds is your main goal, which most everybody's is.
All right, Mr. Gosselman.
You're muted, Dave.
You're still muted.
Thanks. All right, cool. Yeah,
Well,
I was gonna say.
I swear.
I was just gonna say I don't have a bunch of super big input on top of that, other than the immortal words of Captain Cold, which is make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, and then throw out the plan. So.
It's good.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right. Tom, you were there last year, and based on the schedule that you've seen this year, do you think it's going to work out?
I would echo Dan's statement that I think that the best thing you can hope to do when you've got 3 major events happening is have those 3 major events, that being the singles worlds, team worlds, and nationals, be on separate days. So I mean that's a good start. Other than that, we'll see what actually happens. I still think I agree that it's more than would be optimally we'd be trying to do in 1 week. It would be nice if it was just Worlds and the Nationals wasn't looped into it. But if it's got to be, this is about the best way I can think to do it.
All right. And Jay?
I think it's a pretty good system considering what you have to fit in, where you can't possibly have any overlap if you actually do different days. I'm especially happy that it's going to be hopefully working well because I'm actually playing in U.S. Nationals this year, so I hopefully don't have any issues about actually wanting to play in those and the other events like we had issues with last year.
All right. Aaron, did you have anything you want to add? I know you only had a brief input into this question.
Yeah. No, I'll say I don't really care for the fact that if you're playing in nationals, you can do a grinder because then, like, if you get second place in the grinder, just playing in nationals qualifies you.
Yeah.
You're going to see just a huge logjam at Worlds. It's like, okay, so now everybody that played in nationals is qualified for Worlds.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, then why don't we just start the tournament?
Yeah.
Why are we even doing grinders?
Yeah.
Grinders will just be a cash grab at that point, right? $12 for you win a game, you get a Con LE. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's just do that. Let's just, hey, Edward, you want to play for a Con LE? Let's put down our $24. Let's do it. You know what I mean?
But see, that goes back to the fact that they do not respect the bracket of us that look at this as a competitive intellectual game.
Sure.
They don't. If you talk to the WizKids staff and you ask them, hey, guys, what's your thoughts on competitive? It's mostly dumbfounded, and they don't get it. They don't understand why we're haggling on the rules. They don't understand our desire for preparation. They don't get it at all, period. But they're running this crazy show, and they're allowing things to go down that shouldn't go down. And even with this, I even talked with the Phoenix Nest team. It's like, look, Worlds is going to be like that breakdown. It's going to be probably between 80 and 100 people. Because usually last year was like 150 to 200 people trying to get in through general qualifiers. If you add in the nationals little silliness, you add that in plus the grinders, you're going to have about 100 people. They're going to do best of 2 and then cut to top 32. I've been there. I've been screwed by it. I already see it coming.
Right, but like if you look at how many people are qualified for nationals, like everybody on here, I think except for me is qualified for nationals. So and Jason, me and Jason will be grinding, but like so me and Jason will be grinding, rightly so. But then all of you guys are also going to be coming in and grinding because if you get second place, you just have to play in nationals. You could drop. You go, okay, sign up for nationals. Drop round 1.
No, you can't drop. You can't drop to maintain anything.
I forfeit every round and then just get up and go play something else.
Yeah.
Like just show up.
I'm in Worlds.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty dumb. Like,
I mean, don't some people like actually want to play Clixed though?
Some do. Yeah.
No, sure, but you have to also consider the idea that some people look at Origins as a profit-making venture, right? It's like what Zeus and whatever else that's available there that are winnables. There's guys that go only to play battle royales. They win their battle royale. They put the figure up on eBay from their phone right then and there, make $100-something. It's like, all right. I mean, hey, I'm not knocking it. Go for it if that's your thing. But it's like if you want to be taken seriously as a competitive event, you should, I don't know, maybe plan this out.
Yeah.
All right.
So just to clarify, though, that you have the last time I heard, to qualify for Worlds, you had to place in the top 50% for the national tournament.
Okay. Here's how the system works this year, just to quickly explain.
Yeah.
There is a point system. You need 8 points in order to qualify for Worlds. Now, there's only 2 ways to get points. 4 ways of getting points necessarily. But there's 2 types of tournaments you get them in. The grinders, the single elimination 8-man tournaments, the top 2 players get points. Second place gets 4 points. First place gets 8 points. 8 points qualifies you for Worlds. Okay? So now, if you're in the top 50% of U.S. nationals, you get your 8 points, you're qualified for Worlds. If you're in the bottom 50% of U.S. nationals, you only have 4 points, you need 4 more points.
So what happens is you get the bottom 40 or you bottom 50%, you get 4 points, you go to a grinder, you win,
you get second place.
You get second place and you're in, or you play in 2 different grinders?
Sure. You can keep playing all day. That's the thing about it.
Okay, so yeah.
If I want to spend $2,000 qualifying for Worlds, I can spend $2,000 qualifying for Worlds. They will let me. They're not going to turn down my money.
So you just have to have people who keep wanting to try, and eventually you make it.
Right. As long as you have 8 players, yeah.
And this actually conversation does lead into what I like to call the lightning round. So some of these things lead into an answer or a question where we're gonna get I want a quick answer out of this, and it should be yes or no. And we're talking about these grinders. First and second are the only ones that get points. And we got a lot of people who are already pre-qualified for nationals who are going to be playing in the first day of grinders. Is the top 2 of a lot of these grinders going to look like a handshake, somebody handing off a win to the other guy while he takes his 4 points and goes to nationals the next day and is not worried about Worlds? Quick answers on this one. Tom, what do you think?
I'm sure that'll happen.
All right. We'll start with Steve.
Me, Symbio. I'm the only Steve, right?
Oh, sorry, Steve. Sorry, I didn't refer to you as your nickname. I apologize.
Steven's cool too. I just didn't know. All right. Yeah, I think it'll happen. I think it'll definitely happen a couple times.
So you're saying that there will be people who shake hands or are buddy and they'll walk away.
Well, they get to the top 2.
So here's the example. Jay is qualified for nationals. I am not.
Yeah.
Jay and I end up in the finals. Jay says, I let you win because you need to qualify. I got second place. I'm qualified.
Right.
We both get the same prizing.
Right.
We're both happy.
Yeah.
And we've already now seen one specific situation where that could possibly happen.
Right? Yeah, that's the example.
Yeah.
Dan, do you think it's going to happen?
Not the one I'll play in. I'm there to play.
Fair enough. All right. David?
Yeah, I mean, I can see it happening. You got guys sitting here saying they would do it. So,
Edward, do you think it's going to happen, and would you do it? Double answer on me.
Colluding has happened in the past. I won't name names, but I know folks that have done it. No, I won't do it. But Phoenix Nest, our philosophy is: you face a friend, you fight, fight,
and then you play a game afterwards.
Well, that too.
Yeah, it reminds me. Tell your guys to stop throwing fists at me when I play them.
Hey, Sarah throws a mean crossbow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. My jaw's just recovering from it. Jason.
I play it out, but I know people are going to do it. There's no downside.
Jay?
It's going to happen. I don't see myself doing it.
All right, fair enough. So a lot of people claiming to be honest in here. We'll see what happens on that one.
Ooh.
Hey, I didn't. To be clear, I didn't say I was going to do it. I was just giving an example.
It wasn't really. It's funny because it's an example that could very well be.
Oh yeah, sure, but
yeah. And you know what? I have this very bad feeling, and me and Aaron are going to see each other a couple times in these finals. Like,
oh yeah, oh yeah.
I'm gonna make you beat me, Aaron. Jason, I'm gonna make you beat me.
That's fine because you know what I'll be doing while you're in nationals. I'll be playing in grinders.
Exactly. Well, no, that's a problem too. Is after the cut. I don't know if you saw the schedule, but the grinders don't start until 2:00 both days that they're running them, and
but
US Nationals starts at like 10 a.m.
On which day?
On the Wednesday, I believe it is. I got to double check just to be sure. I know there's grinders on the same day. Let me get the schedule up on my screen.
I think Nationals is until Thursday.
Yeah, Nationals is on Thursday.
Yeah, but Wednesday and Thursday is when the grinders run.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll just be playing Battle Royales on Thursday then, I guess.
You know, hopefully by then you and me are already qualified and relaxing in the Battle Royales.
And
I will probably still play grinders rather than Battle Royales, only because it's the same amount of money and I have a better chance at getting a Con Alley.
That's true.
Because if I lose, I just go get back in line for another grinder.
Because one win gets you a Con LE in that case, right?
Yeah, and I get to practice my team.
And it's more fun.
Yeah, and then just look at it statistically. The odds of you getting, for anybody that listens to any of our shows, not the Nooblet with the Dream and a new Goblin King, but like for real, somebody that's on top of this, you're going to be at max doing 3 grinders and you're in.
Yeah.
Like you just are. Like, and definitely while Nationals is going on, 3 grinders you're in.
But
yeah, those numbers kind of they're definitely the numbers I'm seeing in my head, and the way the more and more I run it, unless I am just doing absolutely terrible.
But no, you're right, Jason. Even on Thursday, the grinders don't start till 2.
Yeah, and
that's what they say. But you have to keep in mind that's what they say. They also have to have posted times for Battle Royales. That doesn't mean they're not doing Battle Royales all day.
That's true. And so a lot of times, too, U.S. Nationals, something like U.S. Nationals can take up a lot of space, and they need space for the grinders. If they do have to do a large number of rounds in order to make an actual accurate cut, they might have to wait a little bit to start the grinders for tables to open up, right?
But I don't think WizKids is going to turn down money.
No. And I'm sure that they'll throw a couple 8-man grinders off in the corner. It's just like, take some attack wing space. It's not like they play the game.
I don't know. You got two competing forces there. You've got the WizKids is not going to turn down the opportunity to make money, but will WizKids start anything on time? Those are two competing forces here.
Yeah, it comes down to where they're keeping the lines, I think, for registration. Because last year, the line for registration was ridiculous, and it was a mishmash of Dice Masters and Heroclix all in the same place trying to sign up for their tournaments. And they couldn't start them on time because they were waiting for everybody to get through the line and get it all set up. So it is something of a cluster in that sense.
Do we have any idea how many pods of 8 they're planning on running at a time?
As many as they fill up. It sounds like they're running them like Battle Royales.
So it's just a matter of how much space they're going to have and how many judges they're going to have available to like man that qualifier.
I hope they have a lot. Amber didn't get her email back though, so she's not one of them.
I'll say this. Well, that's kind of bad timing for what you just said, but I'll say this: WizKids has the best judging crew that you'll get.
Yeah, they've been pretty bang on as far as judging is concerned. At least for my one experience that I had at Origins last year. So,
Barnstable the Flash.
Dude,
Constable
Yeah.
Flash.
like he
will
ran like the
literally run
kid in
to answer your
Naruto. Like
questions.
I saw him just going. Just like if you had a ruling, he was there. It was insane.
He's got to stay skinny somehow, right? Like,
Yeah, I still have hearing damage from the sonic boom.
All right, but beyond that, I do want to talk about the con-exclusive legality in regards to what they've allowed, disallowed this year. Most specifically, a lot of the figures that you're going to be able to buy at Origins, but have only been available at tournaments not prior to Origins, such as Canadian Nationals, Mexican Nationals, etc. So a lot of the national championships prior to Origins have had them available, but they will not be legal for this tournament. And I want to kind of get the podcaster's opinion on this one, because we got to see the boxing ring run rampant in Canadian Nationals. I played against it a minimum of 2 times just in the regular tournament itself. And I'm going to start with Aaron on this one. Aaron, what are your thoughts on not letting these things be tournament legal?
I'm fine with it. We played Symbio and I played a practice game where he was utilizing the boxing ring, right? And it was, he didn't actually have it. We proxied it, but it's fine because I don't want to have to jump in line and wait before I can go play. And, I want to be able just to go up and casually buy my stuff when I want to and not have to be stressed out about it. So that's a plus. I do think it's kind of odd, like, what if got, like I went to a tournament today and the store that I went to had no more what if, it sold out because because I only got so much, right? And so it's like you're going to limit stuff based on availability, but then not everything that's limited availability. So it's just kind of weird, But
Yeah.
so I'm cool with it.
Yeah. All right, Dan?
So double-edged. I wanted to use the boxing ring, but I didn't want to face the boxing ring all day.
Mhm.
So I guess logically it makes sense for all fairness, but I'm a very stickler with the rules, right? The rules are 1 week later it's available. Therefore, if you wanted the boxing ring that bad, you needed to use it.
Sure.
It's just, and to me, it's only a boxing ring discussion. The rest of the stuff is irrelevant.
Best, right?
How dare you?
I think
There's that one guy that Sinestro maybe.
Sinestro's good.
Yeah, Sinestro's really good actually, but I think Ameridroid 1 is better in general.
Why not both?
But, yeah.
Somebody is going to want to play Doomsday.
Yeah.
But Doomsday's not available there.
Yeah, Doomsday.
Yeah,
So-
it is one of the 2017s, but you can't.
But it's not purchasable at
it
Origins.
seems like they underproduced it because even at Canadian Nationals, and I'm going to let you answer next, David, as I do this segue. At Canadian Nationals, I got there in line, and I got like the 3rd to last Doomsday, and I was maybe 4th in line because they also allowed a pre-order system on that. So a lot of people already pre-ordered the Doomsday. So if you were buying it over the counter, didn't pre-order it over the Card of Matches website, you weren't getting a Doomsday unless you were one of the 3 people behind me in line.
No.
So, but David, your thoughts on in regards to the purchasable figures?
I don't like it. As far as I know, it's the first time they've done that. Am I right there? As far as
we know, yeah. Like a lot of times, the figures, for the most part, are available prior to Origins. I think last year there was a couple that were new at Origins that wouldn't have been legal, but none of them were very good anyway.
right, because
so-
I remember there were people on day 2 at 2015 Origin or 2015 Worlds like going and picking up Felix Faust and then putting them on their team. I really think it's for efficiency, right? Because it seems like every year they're like telling people you need to get out of the line to purchase things if you want to play in this event or whatever, and if you're not, ready by this time, then you're not playing, and then
Right.
players would get pissed off because they want to get their stuff. So I mean, I think it's all about efficiency and maximizing what they can squeeze into their time.
All right, Edward.
Okay, I'm gonna say it first off. The boxing ring is bullcrap. The main reason I say the boxing ring is bullcrap is that internally within my group we have submitted 3 to 4 questions to WizKids about the boxing ring, and we've been turned down 3 to 4 times.
They just don't like you.
No, not me, team me.
Yeah, I know.
Well, he's
They
still
don't
like
like
it.
But yeah, so there's that.
This guy knows him.
If you're going to have an element like the boxing ring, which you're introducing something to mechanics of Heroclix that we haven't had since Crisis, which is placeable territory.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to reintroduce that. You're going to add compound rules to it. You're going to make all this little silliness that goes down with it, and you're not going to let us have actual rules questions about it. That's strike number one.
Yeah.
Number two, when I look at this situation, it is going to be that same thing that we saw with Faust. Faust comes in, a good amount of people have Faust day one, day two, everybody has Faust, and that's just immediately what you're going to see. And then in particular, with the boxing ring, it's going to be Rumble in the Jungle. It like all day, every day, I am the greatest that ever lived, because you're going to see the boxing ring on Wakanda. Because remember, when you look at the rules of the boxing ring, if you have the boxing ring, you want to have theme team to go first to defer map to your opponent. If you defer map to your opponent and they see that you've got 5 Kingdom Come figures, on your sideboard due to your, ID cards, they're going to pick Wakanda so that they can approach and have a +2 to their defense because of the hindering terrain. It's going to be just one map, one boxing ring, and then you're going to plot to get in there. Then you have barrier, smoke cloud, and all the other 15 bazillion other stupid stuff that I already know and I've already heard about people talk about wanting to run. So getting that jank out of there is essential so that we can actually have a game. And I feel the biggest problem is WizKids should not introduce mechanics that aren't already in the game or already tested while you have this 3-year cycle for con exclusives. I understand why there's a 3-year cycle so that people can get access to things. I understand that. But if you're going to be introducing mechanics that are 3 years, they need to be already proven and established mechanics that you're going to constantly have. Not something that's like, hey, popping fresh out of the oven, here's this nice cookie for you. Go love that.
The cookies are tasty.
And also to just kind of question one thing you mentioned there. You said the 3-year con exclusive life cycle. Isn't that reducing this year with the 2 years worth of cons getting rotated this year?
That takes it from 4 to 3.
Oh, was it 4 originally?
It's not 4. It's the only one I think it's had 4 was that old Wonder Woman.
2014 is out.
2015 Faust, 2016 Faust, 2017 Faust.
Yeah.
So that's 3 years.
So 3 years.
It's 3 years. Like the only time that they've had a con that's
very
lasted
years
long,
of Faust.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing the math. I was just double checking to make sure your math worked out. And everybody double checks it. It's good.
So, I mean, real quick, and this is the problem that I have is that you're going to say Doomsday is not allowed and the ring is not allowed. Cool for this year. Does their 3-year meta cycle start now? Because if it does, I'm fine with that. But if it doesn't, now you got half of your con LEs that are going to get cut in the future, and now you got this confusion of like, oh well, this one needs to get 3 worlds in. But these got 3 worlds in, so they're going to retire. But this half of 2017 is going to be legal because we wanted to whore people to go to freaking 3 conventions and know that they can't pay for it. But, I'm just some dude on the internet.
Every year I am confused by rotation because they throw a wrench in my gears, And I can always predict the one set where it's like, this is the line. Either it's on this side or this side of the line. And I'm generally pretty good about catching that. But then they threw in the con exclusive wedge. It's like, wait, what? So sometimes there's always one thing. But Jason, your thoughts, sir?
I'm okay with it not being allowed. It's kind of like Aaron said. Everybody's not rushing to get it. You can just kind of pick it up at your own pace. Most people aren't experienced with it because it hasn't been very available. So let it sit out this year. I mean, like Edward said, we can't even get any rules answers about it right now. So it's just going to cause problems.
Okay. Jay?
I have mixed feelings as I was going to consider playing it myself. But there are some positive elements, like the possibility that they might just not have enough stuff to give out to everybody. So it's going to be a case of physically cannot acquire it. I also like it because it makes this year's Worlds a lot less pay to win, where we already have the PIM tank, which was 70 US, I think. So you don't want to have people buying what? Probably maybe Sinestro and getting the PIM tank and getting the boxing ring and then who knows what else. On top of the meta either being a super rare from a set released a few days ago, was highly in demand and way more than what a super rare would normally be. On top of another con exclusive with Faust, on top of a super rare prime. So I think overall it's a net gain, but I can see the arguments that it can be saying that it's negative.
All right, awesome. Sorry, is Brett?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I would agree with the last statement completely. You know, like the biggest complaint for new players trying to get into the competitive area is price. You'll always feel it every year. Everyone says, "Why is it pay to win?" And it's in every game. You know, it's just not Heroclix. It's in every game, and I think that this is a good choice to get away from pay to win. You know, paying to win when you can't afford to pay the pieces to be competitive, that makes you feel bad. It makes you feel like less of a player. And you know, I think it's good for the competitive, you know, society to not have to feel that. And it's kind of weird.
But we're not. Let's not BS ourselves here.
Well,
it's still pay to win because all you did is just delay it.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, maybe this will go down on the secondary market, and we already know it's not.
It's
yeah,
not
I mean,
Heroclix to win this time. Sorry.
yeah. I mean, it's less. I guess you're still paying to win. You're just less things to pay for to win. So
It just costs you less.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to do the
You still have to buy to win, just not as much.
Yeah.
Discount.
Yeah, everyone's going to buy everything else they didn't have before instead of buying the new stuff that's now not available.
All right. Symbio?
I'm actually really relieved just because I don't have to plan for it, because I was like trying to figure out everything about how to deal with it. But honestly, I don't think it was fair to all the people who played in nationals in Canada and other countries to have to play in worlds and then not have to deal with it. So I think it's inconsistent, but I do think it was a good choice. Like, I feel like that's what they should do, but they should have been consistent about that in the beginning, you know, instead of just, you know, changing it right at the end.
You could have just asked for the maple syrup. I'll send it to you. Don't worry about it. Tom?
I expect that.
I can't contribute much to what you've all said because there's been a lot of points on both sides. I agree. In this case, I think it's probably better they're doing it the way they're doing it, although there's an argument to be made on both ends of that particular circle. I feel sorry for anybody who shows up having not heard the memo, who shows up with their boxing ring and stuff, and the team that's all built around it. But oh well,
just play another ID card, right?
Yeah.
But I think Jay said it best, actually. The net gain, because there is pros and cons. The net gain is best.
Agreed.
Yeah. And it was that whole thing. It's like I had it on my team. It's like, okay, well, I can replace an ID card. It's okay. I still have enough room for it. Perfectly fine. I got over it pretty quickly, but it's that moment where it's like, this is the one time we had the lead here in Canada, and it's been taken away from us.
I'll scratch you.
And also a very valid opinion on the matter.
Guest appearance.
Awesome. Yeah, my sons have made the occasional guest appearance, but they seem to be pretty good tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. With all of that said, great points from everybody on this one. So we get into the idea of the grinder, and I want to get into a little more detail on how these things work and whatnot. With them being single elimination and ultimately up to the point where it's like you got to win to get what you need out of them, are we looking at the safest play coming out of these things? Are we going to see a lot of don't die tech or a lot of safe play in the sense of hit and run? Not that it's necessarily a bad thing, because wins matter overall, everything else, and your score just kind of makes up pairings. But are we going to see a lot of people attempting some form of, I just want to avoid dying tech in these 8-man grinders? I'm going to start going backwards this time with Tom.
In the grinders, sure. I think that you'll see a fair amount of conservative play. But I mean, as we've pointed out, you know, there are going to be lots of people who are playing in the grinders who don't necessarily have to, and that might throw off the dynamic a little bit, because there'll be people who just want to test out different things and see how they're going to play. People who are preparing their world's teams and stuff like that, or maybe just people who are there to kind of throw some stuff against the wall and see what sticks. So I do think that we'll see a lot of safe play from certain people, but that dynamic, I think, will be thrown off by the number of people that are playing in the grinders, not because they have to, but because they want to, and because they're going to have fun and use it as a testing ground.
All right. Sibio.
Yeah, I definitely think that would be, if you're interested in qualifying, that's a smart play, because it's as soon as you lose, you want to try to point denial as much as possible. So I definitely think that is a viable strategy, trying to play potentially maybe one-man armies more, in the sense that it's going to be, you got to kill my entire team in order to win. So we're definitely going to see that. It's a strategy, and you should prepare for that if you're going to play the qualifiers.
All right, Brett.
I've been kind of struggling with that answer actually, like the last couple weeks. Trying to toy around with don't die tech. Like, I know it's out there definitely. I haven't found a team that I enjoy playing, so it'll be there. Whether it'll be effective or not is the only thing I really care about. So, I mean, like he just said, we might have this big old temple. You have to kill one piece. Try to say that's no die tech. Or we might have a bunch of other pieces that are just super hard to kill, like, Haha Joker and Bizarro Joker and things that have stop clicks. But, I mean, there's always a lot of ways to get points somewhere in the game. And if you have, one big tent pole or a bunch of guys who can't die and they can't score points, you don't win. So, I don't know. I'm conflicted. I give you a maybe. A maybe.
All right, Jay.
It's going to be an interesting dynamic, because you don't usually get competitive environment where the whole goal is basically just win, and points aren't really the concern, outside of don't die tech and whatnot, which we should be seeing less of. But given how frantic it's going to be, I can see people either playing risky plays to maybe to see if they can win it quickly, or lose quickly, and then you try for another one if worst case scenario happens, because you really only need to win 2 games in a row, and if you're a high-level competitive player, that shouldn't be too much of a concern.
Yeah,
I would hope. So,
all right, Jason.
I think you're going to see both. I mean, you're going to see people that's going to try to be conservative because they're not already qualified. If you're already qualified for nationals, I mean, people are probably going to be testing out new stuff and just seeing what flies and what doesn't. I mean, it can be split down the middle pretty well. I think you can play multiple grinders. Doesn't matter how many you play. Why not test out some other stuff once you're already qualified?
Fair enough. All right, Ed.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think it's going to be don't die, from what we classically understand don't die. Right. I do think there is going to be one thing that we are going to see, which is what has already been indicated, is hard to kill. Not necessarily from a tempo perspective, but it's like, hey, man, I got my Bizarro Joker, my Haha Joker, my Jakeem, and whatever else. And then I'm playing this, and I just need to score blankety blank points on you, and that's how many points of liability that I have. So if I score that +5, so you better not burn an ID card on me, I win. Because you're not going to be able to kill the rest of my jank in the 20 minutes that are left, or 10 minutes, or 5. So I think classically we've seen that. I think what we'll also see is just people to just say, well, screw it. I'm going to run, 2 freaking Doc Ox and Renee Tilly and let it ride.
I'm all in.
I'm all in on this piece.
I want to play that against that team.
I'm all in on this piece. But I mean, realistically, I'm going to say this. The tactics don't matter, because it already got pointed out. Grinders turns this whole entire thing into an episode of Whose Line Is It Anyway? The jokes are good.
Don't matter, and everything don't matter.
It doesn't matter if you get 800 points out of a grinder, or you go through the grinder and you score 25 points the entire time because people burned ID cards against you. Okay, as long as you get to the top of that mountain, they don't care how you get there. I can kill your tank every game and then run from every one of my opponents and be like, well, homie, you should have never bought that tank. Ha, ha, ha. I planned this from the beginning. And then, I'm out. There's nothing you can do about that. So there's things to be done and said. I just think that the classic don't die is dead. And I don't think there's just one tactic that we're going to see. I just think some people are going to play safe, and then some people are just going to not give a flying flip. So
I agree. You know, we don't have like that dead man. We don't have you know, the other characters who like always come back. You know, I mean, I guess we have Mistress Death, but yeah.
Mistress Death is giving away points. That ain't don't die tech.
Yeah.
I hope I can kill you, Tech.
Dude, I did it one time, and I had an opponent who could literally kill it every single turn in one shot, and he scored. I refused to not let it be on the board, and he scored 800 points in a 400-point game in his first game, and so he got first place, and everyone was mad at me. So I mean, you know,
it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
it's always Brett's fault.
It's always my fault. Yeah.
All right, Dave, your thoughts.
My thoughts. You know, there are always people who are going to come in and really try mostly not to lose more than win. You know, they might run the whole game. They might just, like, you know, everybody said, score a few points and dip out, you know, and stay away the whole time. And while that's not specifically my play style and not one I particularly like, I think you're going to see it because, you know, the ends justify the means, right? So you snake a few people early in a grinder, and then you get into, you know, worlds and nationals and all that, and, you know, maybe it pays off for you in the end. It just, I guess it's going to be personal preference and what you, you know, see if you can sleep at night whenever you do it. I don't know.
All right. Dan?
So I think the important consideration is, in general, right, a WizKids event goes to a roll-off if you don't score any points, compared to Rock that gives you a double point loss. So whether it's a grinder or the Nationals or Worlds, right, your team at any point better be ready to come up out of there and score some points. So you should be prepared for that situation, regardless if it's a grinder, Nationals, or Worlds. So get out there. If they got a ha-ha joker, beat the snot out of that guy, and he'll give you points.
All right. Aaron?
I think don't die tech. Well, I think point denial has always been like the way to play qualifiers that are single elimination. I mean, it's never been a bad thing. And all they've really done, if you think about it, is extend the format of the finals, because the finals is single elimination anyways, potentially, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, we're gonna take this finals format and just extend it all the way down to the grinder. So now it's all just don't lose. So it's whatever, man. If you can't beat Don't Die Tech, you probably shouldn't be playing competitive meta anyways.
Very true.
Damn.
And
I'm not saying that to be a dick. I've lost to it.
Yeah.
I've lost to it, but you know, it's the truth. It's out there.
Yeah,
You gotta be ready for it.
That's the difference between having the chance to score points and take a win against other games that have a version of where you just physically can't beat it, you know, like.
Well, like card games have OTK, FTK decks.
Yeah.
Where like you don't even get to play.
Exactly. And that doesn't happen here. So I mean.
Well, Faust lets it happen, but that's.
Yeah, that's great. One more year.
Oh my God. That was a conversation I wanted to avoid, but I guess we got to get there.
Not my
in a brief
championship
second.
figure.
Yeah. But I do also want to point out one of my personal philosophies, whether it's, you know, it's always within the rules, and if it's within the rules, it's a legitimate strategy.
It's a legitimate strategy. I love the episode of Red vs. Blue.
It is pretty fantastic.
Until they call Spirit of the Game on you.
Yes. Yeah, because we did, I think last year we had that the silver or the gray Faust style get called on the unlimited turn Spirit of the Game issue.
Oh my God! Yeah.
That they kind of went, look, that ain't gonna be fun. Let's nip that in the butt right now.
Thank you, Adam Friedman. Thank you, Adam Friedman.
Speaking of the spirit of the game and the spirit that looms over the competitive play, that man, that jerk with the big 20-sided rock named Felix Faust.
Doctor Strange?
Doctor Strange? Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say.
Back in the game.
Impossible Man?
Impossible.
His broken legal jerk cousin, Mr. Faust. He's a consideration. He's going to be a consideration for another year still. But
you are bad people.
This year still.
You are bad people.
And I want to let I'm going to let Dan take the first on this one. Do you think Faust is still unstoppable, or is this going to be the year we don't necessarily see him dominate like we have the past couple years?
Me?
Yeah, you.
All right. Faust can potentially do everything, right? Potentially.
Sure.
So
Stop it.
Not my Faust.
It's not so much do everything as stop you from doing anything.
That's right. So,
Right.
so here's the thought, right? Is I was a big Orange Battery player when they were legal. The more you allow your opponent to play the game, the more likely you are to lose. So if you're willing to take your chance on Faust rolls, go for it.
Says the guy who played double D20.
Yeah. So
he has experience. He has experience.
I'll say this. I'll say this.
Yeah.
If ATAs didn't retire, that would have been my Worlds team, no doubt.
Again?
Yep.
Fair enough. All right. David.
I hate Felix Faust, but I've never really particularly had a problem with him, right? I mean, me and Dan played last year in Rock Cup, and Felix didn't last long. You know, I've never really been shut down by one because I make it a point to make him die very quickly. But whenever there are players who are better than me, and I hear their genuine complaints about how they dislike the figure, then who am I to, you know, sit there and be like, oh, he's the greatest thing ever, because really he's not. Like, in the end, this is still a game. I mean, we can be competitive with each other, but it's still, you know, it's a game. They're plastic action figure toys, man. So if I take all this time to go to a convention and I pay all this money to play a game, and then you don't let me play the game, that makes me upset.
And then you get punchy.
I've kept David from playing the game a lot.
He has, yeah.
Locked him out.
And then Orange Battery, his Phantom Girl never moved for games on
Sad
end.
day. That makes for a very, very long practice.
And to complete the trifecta on Clixed, Jason, your thoughts?
Hey, if you like rolling D20s, go for it. I mean,
but there's a whole other game I could be playing for that.
Do what?
Carry on. Sorry.
No, okay. I mean, I don't think you'll see as many Fausts as maybe you did in previous year, but he's still going to be there. If you like rolling dice, go for it, man. It's as good as anything else.
All right. Let's bring it to 2 clicks from KO, Mr. Aaron Cantu.
Faust is a bastard. But he's I don't know, man. I've never lost to Faust. Maybe I haven't played against him enough. I played with him. I didn't enjoy playing it. I got when I was top 16, I should have just stuck with my Phantom Girl team, and I was doing a lot better with that. And then I switched to Felix Faust for top 16 and then top 32, and it was a mess, you know. So there's, while you can definitely do a lot for you, you can also really not do anything for you, you know. So I say fair play, go for it. Just, be prepared, to do what you got to do to beat him, whether it's take it to a roll off or, if that's your best chance at victory, that's your best chance at victory. Go for it.
All right. Let's hear from the guys over at T3.
Well, first of all, how many sides of the die actually stop you from doing stuff? What is it?
About
50%.
Oh yeah, 50% of it
50%
makes you unhappy is the way I like to call it. Because even with the ones that specifically stop, there's also a couple of the colors that Dr. Strange also gets, where it's like, go back to the starting area, shoot you from across the board. It doesn't matter where you are, kind of thing. So
Speed value is locked at 3. That's always fun.
That's
Hey, I just like
You
to
can
say
sidestep 3.
8 times is my record for sending somebody back to their starting area in a single game.
I did it more. Against Matt Devine.
I hate one of my least favorite things, and I'm going to let the guys over at T3 continue in a second, but one of my least favorite things is being the guy that has to pilot Faust for somebody practicing. It's like, I hate doing this. I cannot wait to demolish that figure, but sorry, carry on.
Yeah, so we're looking at 50% of the time it works. 50% of the time it's this weird mystic guy shoots people, whatever. I've noticed a lot more pieces lately have been able to manage it by picking it off further away now. You know, we have like Cosmic Spidey who can shoot through everything and then one-shot it with a simple perplex. And then, you know, and then it's just gone. You know, and you can't hide from that thing. Like, you know, and like if Nick Fury really wants to, he could take it out too. And, you know, so we have options to take it out. It's how much do we want to invest on a single piece to take out that only stops us half the time. And that's the part that annoys me the most. I don't want to think about Faust half the time. Like, what if it rolls this thing? Should I kill it now? And like, you know, of course, the one time you don't kill it, it does something to you. And of course, the one time you do kill it, it probably wouldn't have done anything, and you get stopped by something else. So, I mean, that's the part that bothers me. I just don't want to think about it. Like, you know, pick whatever. I want something to be obviously annoying to me and deal with that. You know.
I just like. I mean, echoing everybody else's opinion. I mean, I think the problem with Faust is, of course, he's the one figure in the game that kind of like breaks so many rules, right? I mean, if they gave us other elements of that to counter it or to be able to do that, then that figure becomes a little less like important. But he's also a strategy in the meta right now, and you definitely can counter build against it. So I don't, you know, I think people, they want to play it, and like Dan said, he played double D20s, and I've heard the podcast multiple times, and he's like, sometimes the D20s aren't rolling for me, and sometimes they are. So that's part of it too.
All right. Mr. Tom Kerr, the beautiful voice of Metal Lab.
Well, I mean, you guys have pretty much covered it. I'm sure it'll show up. I don't think any of us particularly like it. I'm sure that with the guys we've got from here, we'll have more to be able to say on it. So I was planning on waiting for a little later to hear, but I'll just focus on burning Felix Faust while you guys go on.
Ladies and gentlemen!
Go Tom!
Hey, Jay, what do you think about Felix Faust? I'm just gonna.
Oh my God!
Jay, unfortunately, I gotta stay on Tom burning his Felix Faust, but carry on with whatever your thoughts are.
Ooh, it smells absolutely.
We need to get the melting plastic.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say Tom's not playing Felix Faust?
Tom's not coming this year.
Hey, or it's a ploy. He's got two of them, and he's gonna trick us by burning one and show up.
He's trying to fool us.
Yeah, I'm trying to fool my opponent into not knowing what it is.
Yeah, Tom, if you show up now and it's smelling of burnt plastic.
He's taking deep breaths.
Yeah, you shouldn't actually sniff that.
Oh, no good. Oh, okay.
That stuff is like toxic oil plastic.
Like, yeah, I got you. I get
Can you
Yeah, we'll get to that in due course.
If you eat it, you'll gain its power.
This is some quality
chat windows.
There you go. That's what's left.
Oh my God!
So this is what I hope we see more of in the next year. I'm going to go open a window, but you guys talk more about it.
Ladies and gentlemen over at Wiz Kids, I personally am not going to do this on camera to any of my figures, so continue to feel free to send me the breaks of figures that you guys have been sending me.
Is this the part where you disclaim Tom's views and opinions? Not necessarily.
These are the opinions of Mr. Tom Kerr. The actions of Tom Kerr are not reflective of those of the Married with Clixed channel. Jay, your thoughts?
I'm gonna go hug both of my Felixes after this.
I'm a little.
We still love the game.
Oh my God. I'm a little torn, actually, which is a weird situation because at one point I counted the number of tournaments that I lost to specifically because of him, and it was just outrageous. I know I lost in the Rock World Cup semis to the Masters of Mischief, which was the Mixie, Demonicus, Arcade Faust team, and it was just not fun. But on the other hand, at a certain point, when you lose to him that many times and you play him like I have, because I want to actually win these things for once, it's still not fun. Like, I remember one game where it was basically like he moved across the map, I killed something of his, I did the red power, then I did the yellow power. It wasn't a game. It was more I was just steadily, slowly destroying his team while neither of us was having any fun. So, but it's also a competitive environment, and no matter how many people decide not to do it, there are going to be people who, rightfully so, will want to use what they can to win. So he's going to show up. I mean, he's won tournaments before. He probably will in the future. It's going to happen. So it's just a matter of you have to plan for it, and if that plan includes playing him yourself, I can't really blame anybody for doing it, given the cost of the game itself and the travel. So And no matter what, you really do have to plan for it because it is still a competitive game. People are going to do what they have to. So
now, Tom, before I move to Edward, did that smell like the methamphetamine that they were using to make that figure?
I can't imagine it was anywhere near as pleasant.
Okay. If Tom starts running around his screen, we know. But I want
also, if my girlfriend strangles me from behind, then tell my story.
You got it, buddy. And I know I love the opinionated voice of Mr. Edward Sheldon. That's why I saved the best for last on this one.
Oh, yeah.
It's your floor now, man.
Okay, first off, I gotta disagree slightly with part of the T3 dynamic twins. Not Symbiote, the redheaded dude. I forgot his name. Steve.
The literal redheaded stepchild.
How
right?
could you forget somebody's name who's that good looking?
His name is Brett.
I'm hetero, so I don't see guys like that. But
I'm hetero too. That's how
exactly. I'm hetero and recognize attractive men.
Oh, that transcends.
Handsome is handsome.
I don't know. I guess I'm man. Anyway, but here's the thing. The thing we're seeing right now is this. With Faust having a range effect of 7, the average game effect and average game range is 7. Yes. So getting out of Faust's effect is harder and harder and harder. You're talking about for 80 points invested in Faust, that I have to invest, let's just say go back to Cosmic Spider-Man, I invest 75 points. His range value is 7. Now I have to invest 15 points on a cheap Perplex, plus an action 2 activated. That's not even if I go cheaper and I go Supreme Intelligence, which means I'm completely, I'm waiting until turn 3 before I get that Perplex. So automatically right there, just from a range perspective, I'm already investing more points. Now, if you can say like more shenanigans, look, I got shield people, cool. Great, you have shield people. Now you have to dedicate to having a shield person on every team to deal with Faust. Shield person plus Cosmic Spider-Man, you're not making a theme team 9 times out of 10.
Right.
So when I look at Faust, the math behind Faust is too much in the favor of Faust. If you go listen to like the last episode of Critical Clixed, they just go through Faust. Uniquest, Isaac's dad, him, Kevin, and Scott. They sit there and talk about Faust, and they break down each one of them, and even a couple of them, like Mystical Trap. I would say Mystical Trap in this format is way more stronger than people want to admit, even after the errata, because after the errata, you have to target 2 opposing characters that have mystical keywords to activate Mystical Trap. Well, guess what the 2 most common mystical characters in the meta are? Freaking Felix Faust and Jakeem Thunder. So there's so many problems with Faust that if you're going to say, I'm going to counter build him, you're going to exert more force than what the Faust player played. And if that's not a game imbalance, I don't know what is. Now, I've been play testing against Faust and all the other stuff. Yes, that D20 chingling around, it can screw your day or it can do absolutely nothing. But there are times where even when you think it completely screws your day, there's a lot of like intellectual laziness that I've seen even on my part, and I've been playing against it for a while, that I'm like, oh crap, I didn't read that. Just like Energy Dampener. It says you can't do power actions. Doesn't stop you from doing a ranged combat attack, doesn't stop you from using prop, doesn't stop you from doing a whole host of other attacks. But the average player is going to think Energy Dampener, well, to get it off, I need to move now. Yeah. And then they won't attack. Yeah, they won't attack. So there's a bunch of different things about Faust, not just from a psychological perspective of Faust being freaking PTSD for about 90% of this podcast, including myself. But it's the fact of how it's designed and where the game is going, of it being smaller dials. Like, I hate to say this, freaking BGA almost becomes a requirement because yellow kills teams. Well, you're talking about 5 clicks of life, 6 clicks of life on average. Faust dropping 3 bombs, just dropping that lightning splash right on top of you. It's imbalanced. You can't have the game go that direction and say, hey, I'm playing all these fragile pieces and I'm not going to play BGA. You have to. So now everything shifts towards a handful of characters. Peace Machine doesn't fix it, and a whole bunch of other host things doesn't fix it. I'm going to get off my soapbox, conclude my sermon. Thank you for coming.
I got one question. Is he more easy to manage now, post this rotation and all the new stuff out, or was he easier to deal with last year than now?
I feel like an era where we could, where we had more green arrows and Iron Men that could shoot through walls and stuff. There were more opportunities to shoot to take him out from farther away prior to rotation, I think.
Yeah, if WizKids wasn't balancing everything around 5 to 6 clicks of life and the average range being 6, I would have been with you. But when I'm looking at Captain America Civil War OP and I'm like, good golly, there's some good figures there. After rotation, we're in a really bad spot. We're in a really bad spot.
Can we call it interesting as opposed to bad?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I can use that 3-stop click Iron Man. Good golly, like I see the problem being this: when you have Overdrive, you have Doctor Strange, you have Renee Tilly. The limitation of Faust getting in your face, it's not there. It's an illusion. Yeah. He's going to drop ship on top of you and just tell you, hey, next turn you're going to do absolutely nothing and sit there.
Yeah.
So if you told me that WizKids didn't invent hypertaxis, that they were still keeping long ranges, that there were improved targeting, destroys, blocking, so you could sort of finagle around some things, I'd be like, yep, Faust could be sort of okay, but you can, if you set it up on turn 2, you can get that alpha strike and nuke him. But you can't. And name how many characters outside of Cosmic Spider-Man, because he's a new hotness, that ignore characters. Name 3 off the top of your head. Don't pull up rounds.
Improved targeting or improved movement?
Improved targeting ignores characters.
Well, there's Nick Fury, number 1.
Nick Fury
was on every team.
Who else?
Stargirl, I think, from Wonder Woman does, right?
And doesn't Faust ignore characters?
Well, Faust ignores Henry Terrain.
Faust ignores it.
You don't know.
Faust ignores the map once you include yellow.
Yeah, Faust.
Faust does ignore characters too, actually. So it's Nick Fury and Faust, and Spider-Man doesn't ignore characters.
But Spider-Man's like the trick about shooting around all the terrain and through the night.
Yeah, my bad on Spider-Man. Hey, my omnipotence didn't kick in at that moment.
No, and like you make a really good point. Like with the average of being 7 and his power being 7. You're really not likely to be able to get to him first. It's really only when he doesn't have that power showing, he doesn't stop you from attacking, and then you just have to decide whether you want to take the initiative to kill him or not. And that and alone, if the character was just that, would be ridiculous. But like you said, it's not just that; it's everything. It's insane. He needs to rotate.
And so then the other thing to think about on Faust as well that I've seen is, and this goes back to Brett's point, Faust, determining when to kill Faust is always important.
Yeah.
Because there's 2 things. Faust could just be the little tasty morsel out there. Because, you nuked my Faust, well, here comes this.
With flurry or something,
Right, yeah, so do you kill the Faust, or do you worry about, the big brimstone sitting there waiting for you?
Mm-hmm.
We have all toiled with this piece at that point, where we sat there and we're like, finally we're not locked down, and finally we can try to kill it. But should we? We've all had it, all of it. We all know it. Anyone who's watching this video knows it.
Yeah.
Rage. Give me that Red Lantern ring.
Yeah.
Wait, I can get my Red Lantern ring back? Great. I don't want to roll dice anymore.
Red Lantern Shredders, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, that would be the best thing in the world.
We all have that one friend who just sucks at rolling. They will never land an attack. And all you do is a Red Lantern ring and a shredder, and you go, you can play now.
Yeah, this is for you.
This is for you. Yeah.
Dice reputation transcends borders right now, so there are people in the U.S. who have witnessed this. I need a 4. I have 3 props. Yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
All right. I do have one more lightning round question, and then we have a fantastic question from Facebook that with this specific group, I want to get covered. But lightning round question.
That's interesting.
We all gonna throw some shade?
We all go, oh shit.
No. It's all good. Everything is actually. You guys are gonna like this one.
You sent a person in each one of our houses.
But before we get started on that, the lightning round question. Now, I believe Jason and Tom aren't going to Worlds, but hypothetically, if you were, feel free to answer the question anyway. You're going to Worlds, you're planning a thing, you're getting into the tournament, but we know the difference between safe play, risky play when it comes to the Heroclix and what we plan on playing. I don't want you guys to tell me what your team is. I want you to tell me, are you planning to play risky or safe this year? And we're going to start with Aaron. Aaron, risky or safe this year?
Risky.
Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty.
I'm
pretty safe.
I'll say this. I'm normally the safe player, but I'm going risky this year.
What? You're always. I thought you always play risky. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Aaron's actually generally pretty safe. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. What?
I'm going risky this year.
He pulls out all the time. I mean,
the Majestics, you played pretty risky. Playing the
I did. That's true. But
you did really well.
Yeah.
All right, Dan.
70% of my team's safe. There's 30% that's risky for me personally.
All right, Dave.
I'm not going, but if I were going, I'd play Jakeem, and he can be either.
Wait, you're not going?
No,
Does that mean I'm
sadly
going to be
not.
sober? No.
Sorry.
There are other ways.
You're gonna. I'll send you something with Dan. Maybe we'll.
All right, perfect. That's fine. That's fine. Make sure there's Red Bull and Jaeger.
You have to share, Jason.
Oh,
You
of
have to
course.
share.
Of course, I'm going to share.
I gotta fly, so I can't take that stuff with me.
I've
Edward,
had some drinking adventures with Aaron as well. So.
Yes, this is true.
safe play, risky play. What are you going to be bringing?
I'll tell you tomorrow because I'm still
Fair enough.
testing.
Jason, if you were to be coming, safe play, risky play.
Right now, safe because
Okay.
yeah, it's safe because I dealt with it at the last Tulsa Rock. I played risky, and when you have too much of your reliance on getting a lockdown, I think there's a slight problem. I'm not saying in particular which lockdowns, but I do think if you're dependent on a lockdown, you're going to have a problem. Not, you don't say like, oh, discounts all the fouls crap I said before, but like fouls lockdowns are different than like Nixie lockdown or Iceman lockdown.
Like Shadow Cat lockdown.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people play that.
All right.
Hey, I played some Iceman.
I
Got
played
rolled.
Spirit of Vengeance, Red Hulk, Ghost Rider today,
Nice.
and everybody was complaining about the little bit of lockdown he does.
They
They don't get out often.
Oh, wow.
All right. I swear, Jason, it's actually your turn. These guys are going to shut up for a second.
I'm gonna mute.
I'm not going. I'm staying home and having a baby, so safe, right?
Well, obviously not if you're having a baby, right?
Right.
Is that a safe or risk?
That's not a safe situation.
I'm having a kid. I'm going.
That's
I
true.
got 3 already. I'm done with this. Jay.
For US Nats, I'm leaning risky, but for Worlds, totally safe.
All right.
How dare you? How
fair
dare
enough.
you?
Brett.
Actually, I think I'm playing safe for once. What do you think? You've been playing my team literally all day. So
He's playing safe.
am I playing? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm playing safe.
You usually play risky, but
Yeah. I mean, I'm usually like I want a big stick in your face, and that's what I try to do. But
That's what she said. That's
when,
what she said.
when I
that's what she said.
when I play risky, I lose. So I always play safe because I'm playing safe.
All right. Tom, hypothetically, if you're going.
Well, I mean, I've been practicing as if I were, and I would say risky. It's unorthodox.
Well, here's the question: Did Faust count as risky before or safe?
Safe.
Fouls falls under safe.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, he's definitely risky.
Yeah.
Did we have to ask that?
Risky would be playing Mistress Death.
That would be ignorant, is what that would be.
Okay, so risky and
We'll say ill-advised.
Hold on. I'll have to say this. When it came out, when Mr. Death came out, I was so hyped for it. And then when I saw that first tournament where somebody scored like 800, I was like, you know what, guys, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I was wrong on my first take on this. I'm sorry.
1,100 points at our venue at Iraq.
Hey,
Somebody scored 1,100 points off of Mr. Scott's team.
I scored over 2,000. Wait, how many points? I killed 20. I killed 22 Wakandan warriors 2 weeks ago in a tournament. 22. I sat there.
That's practically
Yeah, you know the Black Panther that brings him into the game. Yeah, I just let him live. For 40 minutes, I just killed Wakandan warriors. I mean, there's other things to farm out there.
That's a genocide right there. That's like a war crime.
Yeah.
I think I'm a good person after that.
That's not something to be proud of.
You're a racist.
What did the Wakandan people do to you, man? They
Yeah.
just vibranium. Come on, man.
What were you playing,
We
man?
were just talking about Mr. Death, and you
Is
steered
your
it in place
name
towards
Ulysses
genocide.
Claw, not actually Brett?
Yeah, what were you playing?
I was playing Penguin in the Red Lantern, Green Lantern, and so it was this Penguins pulse waving Wakandan warriors and charging and hitting
That
him.
is the saddest genocide.
Penguins versus Wakandan warriors.
Revenge of the Penguins.
At least they were well dressed when they did.
Yeah, they basically call it's March of the Penguins too. They're marching to war.
And Morgan Freeman in the middle is like, I can't narrate this anymore.
It's like, it was a good day.
Yeah.
And when that happened, the Penguins decided to throw themselves up. Some of them had knives. And I think that it was well.
Cindy, I'm not sure I got your answer. Are you playing safe or risky this year?
Who?
Symbiote.
Oh, Symbiote.
I said I'm playing safe.
You said safe, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna blame the alcohol on that one. For the first time ever, I'm actually playing safe this year.
Wow.
So yeah. Everybody can be shocked.
Wait. Who is playing risky that's actually going?
Aaron.
Just Aaron?
Aaron, the safest player
That's
I
'cause
know.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh my God, that's great.
Panel full
Wait.
of bitches.
Aaron, are you going to be changing up your team in grinders, or are you going to just like?
No, I will bring a Jakeem whatever nonsense in case like it gets to like late Thursday. I'm like, fuck, I'm still grinding. But
Aaron was actually planning on just pumping out Wakanda Warriors the whole time.
You know the funny thing is-
It won't work.
When it comes to grinders, late Thursday is 5 o'clock because they cut off the sign up.
right, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, I know, but I know what you're getting at. It's like, okay, I'm done with this. I've lost so much. It's time to go. Yeah.
so, but yeah, no, I plan on playing the same team.
All right, cool. Now, there's a question in the Facebook I have to ask, and this is the best question for this particular group of players, or rather, podcasters, as it were. And it also deserves a little bit of fun functionality. We have a longtime fan, one Mr. Chris Stockas.
I think some others do too.
Always generally has a fantastic question for the channel. And I don't consider it an official episode until I have a question from Chris Stockas. And for a while, I was saying time to put a stamp on it.
Yeah.
From blonde to purple,
I was like,
ladies and
what the
gentlemen.
hell was that?
Holy hell. So I don't know if you guys got, but Amber recently dyed her hair blonde. Now she's purple-headed again. But Chris Stockhouse, we used to call when he got a question, we'd say we're putting a stamp on it. So he made us a wonderful Married with Click stamp, and he's asked us a question. Therefore, time to put a stamp on it. Yeah. It's an official Metal Lab episode, guys. And Chris Stockhouse asks, our panel of podcasters, if you had to pick one of these things for your own show or podcast, which one would you pick? And there are 4 options. You could get an interview or a Heroclix match with one Mr. Scott Porter. Or, number 2, you can get an interview with Justin Zaret. Number 3, you get an exclusive early unboxing of an upcoming set that no other channel is going to get. Or number 4, you get the full funding and sponsorship for your channel by WizKids. And I'm going to let Edward make his choice first. If you had these 4 options presented to you.
Hold on, quick question.
Yeah.
Why me first?
I
Because
just
you have
kind of
the smoothest-
randomly.
Okay.
Random this time around.
Okay. Because I was gonna say like officially, by having me on the show, I think WizKids is automatically gonna cut all like ties with you because I'm like, have you not listened to my show?
Okay. Look,
Like,
also, Edward is under my control right now, WizKids.
Yeah.
okay, I'm just saying.
I control his mic.
I'm just saying, like, you understand, like, if you listen to my show, I call WizKids high all the time. So, but if I could get it, because I've had a WizKids person on my show previously a couple of years ago, I would rather deal with Scott Porter and play the game with Scott Porter, because if you get, I don't want to like just crap on everybody's day, but Zoran is a crap interview. I listened to him on Push to Regen. He's not going to answer shit. Sorry, he's not going to answer shit. I might as well say it. He's crap. He's not going to say anything.
And I'm as a game designer myself, I'm going to actually explain why Justin Zoran's interviews are going to be terrible. Is he's a CEO? He's the businessman, right? He doesn't get involved in game design, and therefore you're not going to get non-business related.
Yeah. I would be like, dude, why you give me 15 different repeats of the same dang sculpt and what if? Like I would be that guy, because and I'll be honest with you, WizKids will never come on my show because I would treat it like a real interview and I would ask real questions, and they don't want to have that happen. And that's why they probably haven't talked to any of us. Period. But again, Magical Wonderland, I'm able to mind control people and get people to show up on my show. I'd rather have Scott Porter, because I could sit there and be like, so Scott Porter, how'd you get into Heroclix? And then Scott Porter will say how he gets into Heroclix. It's like, okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to coach you on how being a professional Heroclix player, Scott Porter. And then I have a ruler to like smack his hand every time he goes and reaches for a theme team. I'm like, no, Scott, no. You're rich. You can afford this.
That's a trick.
That's a trap. What did I say about picking, those types of commons? It's like, yeah, I would have Scott Porter, and the whole series would be Dark Logos makes Scott Porter a Heroclix man. Like, that's what it would be. It would be a series of 5 videos. He would start off clean shaven, and then at the end he would have like this rugged beard and a tick, and he would probably like lose half of his good hair, and he would be like, I know the probability of rolling a D20 for Felix Faust and what I can get, and that's.
He's like, what's the dude on Game of Thrones?
Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about too.
So Scott Porter for the win, because he would actually be interesting. And real quick, if you listen to the last Scott Porter series of unboxings, you can even tell he went off a script. Where he's like, I hope there's some Fantastic Four. I hope there's some X-Men. That would be wonderful. And then you see his like disappointment. And then and at the end, his professionalism kicks back in. It's like, I'm a trained professional actor. All right, I need to like shine this turd real well.
There's one part in one of the episodes, there's a hard cut that's like, oh, he said something. He said something.
All right, that's my answer. I'm sticking to it. That's
your answer. All right, guys over at T3, you had those 4 options. You want me to repeat them, or are you good?
What did you want?
I think we disagree.
Yeah,
that's fair. I want to hear both your opinions then.
Yeah, I think that the interview with Scott Porter would be cool, because I think he's awesome, and it's cool. It would be, like Ed said, it would be the most interesting. But
I would take the WizKid deal. If they're gonna sponsor me, and then if I do well enough, if I can become more popular than Scott Porter, then Scott Porter interviewing me, I think that's way more interesting than
he's already better looking.
I don't think.
In Brett's case, though, not by much.
No, I don't think a Heroclix sponsorship is going to make you more popular than Scott Porter.
Okay,
so good luck on that.
That's very.
Yeah, you were in Friday Night Lights, and you aren't Star-Lord in the Take-Two or in the what's it called, Telltale game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the other thing is if I get sponsored by Heroclix, it means that they care about my opinion, and I might be able to tweak some of the mistakes that they make.
Is that true?
Boy,
Is that true, you guys?
Do you want the honest answer on that?
Yeah, Jason.
No, sir. Can I have the box, please?
I have a bridge to sell you.
Make a product.
Right, but I mean, like what level of sponsorship are we talking about?
That is a vague question. Are they paying you a salary in order to make this? Are they covering all your expenses in order to be there in public for Heroclix? So I'm going to assume yes for all of this.
To me, a sponsorship is like everything Clixed related is funded.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. They're not just sending me bricks of things and having me open in it. Like
no.
Yeah.
Like some other guy on this show.
Like they're paying for me to go to like.
Who's that guy, Aaron?
Yeah, but if you're a sponsor, then you're also like beholden to them for like.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you're a sponsor, then you're also the visual face of the company, right?
Oh, I can do that.
I hope you saw Edward's mention in the chat because there's an element of that that's unspoken that kind of happens,
If you
wait, is this group chat public?
No,
that's fine.
Oh, okay, good.
What you guys are typing is.
I know.
Wait. I'm changing my answer. What was the third one again?
An exclusive early unboxing of an upcoming set that nobody else is going to get a touch on.
I think that's the one with the least likely thing for that comment to happen to me.
Right.
So that's my answer.
I was going to say because it's not explicitly said. It's kind of assumed.
Right.
So.
All right.
Dan and the guys over at Clixed, I'm going to get your individual opinions on this. So,
all right.
Dan,
So
what would you want for your channel?
I have a ranking. So our show we have a sponsor for our show already that takes care of some stuff for us. So that's really appreciated already. The Scott Porter thing, I think he's cool and all, but I'd probably pass on that as well. I would have to think about either one. So the exclusive unboxing, the only reason I would want that is so I can be like, ha 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 ha, I have the figures before you guys. And I'm going to touch them. I want to touch them and put them on the map before everybody else.
You got to lick them.
Whatever it takes. So I would actually want to take the interview with Justin. I would be curious how the business works, what things that they do compared to compete with other collectible games, and then other collectibles in general. Being in engineering, a lot of that and business aspects of it would be interesting to me personally.
All right, David?
Mine would be almost the exact opposite of Dan. I think I would go with the playing a game with Scott Porter, but Dan is not allowed to do it. Can you imagine Dan making Scott Porter rage quit Heroclix?
Yes. No, that would be so worth it.
Oh my! Forever, he would be like, "That's the guy that made Scott Porter quit."
I'd be like, I can't use this, and you can't use that, Scott, and I'm going to power action the orange battery, and Nick's going to outwit this with the Fidian. And
he comes in with like a Runaways theme team, and you come in with like 12 Nick Furies.
You made
Orange Lantern team.
Oh my God!
Just sucking your soul out. Like.
So I mean, I think me and Jason would have a super fun time playing Scott Porter. We could like record it and stuff like that. But that would be really fun for me. I really have no interest in asking questions to a guy who won't give me answers I want. And then the sponsorship thing, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would go with Scott Porter. That could be really fun, I think. He genuinely enjoys the game of Heroclix to the point where Jason referred me to it Friday. I watched that video on YouTube where he was on Whose Line Is It Anyway? And did the song about Heroclix. Click, click, bro!
That is the best. Click.
Wait a second. I got no idea. What?
What?
I think I didn't know if you were there or not, but your wife referred me to the video where Scott Porter was on Whose Line Is It Anyway? And the host asked, "What's the nerdiest thing about you?" And he says, "I play a game. It's like superhero chess called Heroclix."
The looks on everybody's face in that in that segment is brilliant. What? He's the only one who's kind of like, yeah, it's called Heroclix.
Right? Just the nuts that he had the balls to admit it too. You know, that's the best part. So.
And he even said in the video, like, he's go, "What's up, guys?" Like after he said it, like he was saying hello to all the Heroclix players.
Right, exactly.
The 2,000 of us are all like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking to us.
Yeah. Oh, me?
All right, Jason. Also, from Clixed.
I kind of agree with David. I think playing Scott Porter would be kind of fun to do, but we definitely can't let Dan near him because Dan has his way of sucking your soul out.
So it's basically Clixed wants Scott Porter as long as Dan has no say or no.
Yeah,
it's not allowed anywhere near him.
You might as well just rename it Clixed at Dan.
So how about this? How about this? Jason and Dave can play Scott Porter, but I get to coach Scott Porter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. I actually would pay to watch that.
I would too. I second that.
Scott, what happened to you? You okay, man?
I mean, I wouldn't pay, but I'd watch it.
I'd pay with my time.
Right.
Not a lot of it.
I only have so many attention dollars per day. Okay?
I mean, I'd be okay with the sponsorship too. I think I said on our last podcast that I will whore myself out for free clicks and cookies.
And cookies, yeah.
Yeah.
And cash money.
Cookies,
but which are more important?
You'll take any of them. They're all
It
equal.
depends.
No.
It is. Are they chocolate chip? That's the biggest question.
All right. I just want to know for when I meet you.
I got some cookies.
Well,
I'm gonna let Aaron answer this one, and before I let Aaron, Jay and Tom, I'm gonna let you think about your answers as though I'm gonna let you guys get involved in it.
So for me, I'm all about. I'll take the free sponsorship, man. Free money is always a good thing. Like, you know, hosting a podcast is not free. You know, and then traveling to play is not cheap. So there's a lot of things to it. So as much as I would love to play Scott Porter, he's only like 4 hours from me. I'm pretty sure I could go find his venue if I wanted to.
I'm sorry. Also, if hosting a podcast isn't free, let me introduce you to YouTube.
No, that's true. That's true, but that's not I mean, it's not the same as what I do, you know.
Right.
And even then, you know, buying equipment or, like I said, traveling to play, things of the sort. They cost money.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Jay, you're allowed to involve yourself now in this particular segment of the show. Which one would you most likely like to enjoy being a part of? Part of the Married with Clixed cast.
I just want to say before I answer that I love that we referred to Whose Line Is It Anyway now twice on this show.
Everything's made up of the points that matter, and Scott Porter, yeah.
The problem with getting full sponsorship is that it's so vague as to what that entails. So, like, that could be the best answer, but it's just unfortunately far too vague to want to select.
Like, I don't know. I want to say there's a salary involved along with expenses in regards to running the channel and showing up for Heroclix things.
I
want to say that, but that might not be right.
I'm going to answer the question assuming the most conservative possible interpretation that it's like not really that much
camera.
I like number 3. That's very interesting because getting the drop on some competitive knowledge can be quite good, as is getting to jump ahead of the secondary market. And I do spend a lot of time on HC Realms on the evidence thread, so I just feel like that would be a personal thing that I would pick for me. But for the good of the channel, you have to say number 4.
Okay. Tom?
I'm going to play the long game on this one. I like the idea of getting an exclusive unboxing because then we can intentionally misread some powers, misquote some dials, get everybody mistaken about what's out there, so that when it actually reaches their hands, they're all super disappointed. And then from that point forward, they're just like, man, whenever something goes wrong in Heroclix, whenever somebody gives misinformation in Heroclix, then they'll be, man, they totally Tom Curd that. So
Wow.
I want to become a verb in this game.
Oh man, and how quickly Tom would get fired after that.
Everyone will blame you.
That's right.
I don't. But at the same time, can you get angry at that voice?
Yes, you can.
No.
I can.
Yeah.
So I got a very twisted view on this one. It's really hard to say because for the most part, I get 3 without the brackets. So like I do get the unboxing, which a lot of it is from the fact that a lot of people watch the show, and I do appreciate all the viewers that watch the show. And this is my chance to suck up to everybody who enjoys this. As far as a full sponsorship, if Jay's conservative thing is right, that's not a lot for me because this keeps the channel alive. So a full sponsorship, unless it involves my travel expenses of my trips here, Clixed tournaments, is really fantastic. So then it comes down to an interview with Justin Zuran and Scott, sometime with Scott Porter. Justin Zuran, don't get me wrong, I have no problem with the man in person, but when it comes to the game of Heroclix, I want to talk to a game designer or somebody who has a lot of power in that, or not so much power as much as is part of the process of creation, not necessarily the decision making. So I'd be more interested.
I've done that twice. It's not as great as you think.
Oh, I'm sure it isn't, because as a game designer myself, I'm also under NDA. So if you know where I work and you ask me a question, I'm gonna be like, yeah, sure, okay.
I'm gonna ask you all the questions.
Yeah, so
about every
get,
game studio. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna get ready on the mute button on Aaron's mic there for a second. So obviously, I'm sure I have a ton of fun just with Scott Porter. I'm sure our personality, I hope, if it's legitimate personality there, or that is any part of his legitimate personality when he's doing the unboxings or doing the videos for Indomitable or Geek and Sundry, if that's any part of his personality, I'm sure that both of us would have a ton of fun playing Heroclix. And I'd even have Amber build us the teams. Neither of us would have any say. It's like, Amber, build us both teams. Let's have some fun. And just go wild on the camera. And then sit back and chill out with him and talk to him about stuff. I think that would be the most beneficial for our channel. So that's why I had to break it down very carefully on that one, because it's like, well, why wouldn't you? Well, this is why. So yeah, and yeah, that was a very interesting question by Mr. Christakis, and I thought it was really good to kind of go away from Worlds for a little bit and get the podcasters to kind of talk about everything in regards to running your channels and everything like that, and see what you guys would want to do.
Sure.
And now we're gonna hit the chat, and the chat is very bad about hitting capital questions on your questions, but. Tiago Pinto de Luz does want to know, do you guys think that this year's meta for Origins is better than last year's meta? And I'm going to let the guys at T3 go first.
Okay, I got another question. Do you mean better as in more fun, or like would they win against the other? Like
more diverse?
Which would you consider to be a better meta in that case? Like, do you think
consider to be a better?
I'm going to go from like the perspective of which meta I think would beat the other one. I think last year's, because of all the other stuff that was like, all the other resources that they had, and amongst the things that break the game, break it quotation mark, there was more.
Quinjet zombies.
Yeah, wait, last year we had the battery still, right? How long has it been?
No, that was 2 years
No,
ago.
last year the batteries were gone.
So we still had,
God.
Oh man, I'm all blurred up here. So we still had the Pandora's box. We still had
Quinjet.
Oh god, Quinjet.
I mean, I think that the meta a year ago was. I thought there were more options, in my opinion. I feel like it was more diverse.
Really,
I played the Quinjet, and I know a lot of people felt like that was like the big thing that everybody saw, and the meta changes. But honestly, I feel like it was just a little more dynamic. There was a lot more special powers in the field, a lot more combinations that I thought were more interesting. Like, you could come up with a little bit more, like Kenny Pena. That was like when he pulled out the dupe team, right? When was that? That was like a year and a half ago.
2 years ago. Yep.
2 years ago.
Man,
so a little bit
fast.
after that, but
Stuck there.
But yeah, I just feel like the meta right now is just sort of when you have two very powerful pick-a-power teams, which, Zombie Super Scroll was out, last year, I just think that's very clearly going to dominate. And we lost a lot of resources. And so once you took all that out and you have some ID cards left, it's just not as interesting, in my opinion.
I also think, that like Edward has pointed out that the dials are now shorter. So we have more pieces that are easier to kill now. And
simpler with less special powers,
right.
Which I think takes away from some of the.
And before we really didn't have that, having the lengthier dials and the more complicated dials can really throw a wrench against this current year's meta.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna get Aaron's opinion next.
So better as in, I would say last year's was better, only because I think Brett pointed out, or maybe Steven, that it's more diverse. Sorry, I had to speak to the woman. It's more diverse than last year's or than this year's because, everybody's talking about Jakeem, this and that. And I think Edward pointed out on his show that Jakeem could, legit hold his own against things like Quinjet or, zombies. So last year's probably more diverse if that's how you're looking at it. If you want to say better, like simpler is better, then I would say this year's better.
All right, awesome. Dan.
So I would agree with your show last night. This year's more akin to, say, the Ghost Rider year. Yeah. You're going to have, you've got Jakeem, Goblin King, parachute drop team, essentially like 3. 1, 2, 3. 3.
I think 3 feels.
No, sorry, 3. Basically 3, right? I mean, the parachute drop being, the Sinister Syndicate team. And then last year you had the drones, the Quinjet, the Seafert, and the zombies, right? So, just based on there, you're talking about 3 archetypes versus 4. So last year
there was some weirdo playing Supermans last year too, but he didn't do too well, so don't worry about him.
Right. There's some outliers like there. Like, last year the Proteus made the top 8. I think that Superman's might actually have a good chance this year too. More diverse last year. There's just probably more cannons this year. It's going to be, games will probably be shorter. It's cannon on cannon, and whoever hits first wins. For the most part, for the majority of games.
Yeah. All right, David.
I think last year's was better. There's just more stuff, more diversity, and to be honest, it's a lot more fun to play. I think Jakeem wins this year.
All right, Jason.
Yeah, I think everybody else already said it. Last year just had a lot more choices, a lot more diversity. I hope somebody comes up with something new that we haven't seen for this year.
I'll play Mistress Death and Wakandan Warriors if you want me to, but
that's a waste of money.
We have not seen.
Come meet me at the Grinders.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill a couple of them. We'll chill out, chit chat.
Yeah.
If you want to be unique, use Chair Namor. That would be kind of cool.
Oh my God! Yes.
Chris Smotherman, the fan of a lot of our podcasts, would lose his mind, especially if you've ever watched him go off at Critical Clicks. Chris, I know you're watching too. Bring back those Namor memes.
Please don't. Yeah, no, do it.
Do it.
Washboard abs, man.
Where did he get all those photos of Namor? Damn.
Half of them are his.
Honestly, I kind of want to find where he found them, but Rule 34 and DeviantArt are places I tend to avoid on the internet.
I just want to see his Google search history after that.
I honestly feel he's
pushing some weird ads on that.
Oh yeah.
He's in incognito mode 3/4 of the time he's on, or he isn't, and that's even better because there's just like this guy loves Namor. In fact, Marvel's probably already bought his search history, and they're making the movie based on it.
nothing beats after what was Brazil's nationals when they won with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle chases, and then we got that video Rick and Morty where
the Rick and Morty one, yeah.
Yes, that was so great. That was
If anybody still knows where that is, will you please re-put that up?
I will find it for you, Mr. Gosselman. I will.
Thank you. That thing was so
Someone needs to
funny.
make a new one.
If not, I will re-edit the same clip for you, man, because it was so good.
Shredders instead of the normal turtle chases.
Oh, shredders, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, just for Dave. Dave's personal version is going to be shredders, and we're going to put pictures of other things in the metas and shredders beating the crap out of it. All right, Jay, your thoughts on the meta?
Oh, it's weird right now because like last year was basically there's one team, which is both good and bad because obviously it didn't win, so everybody knows how to what to plan against. Whereas this year you have one obvious figure who's only less than half of your build, but so versatile, so you just build towards him. So just the sheer amount of versatility is just so hard to plan against, but also kind of so good. So it's a bit of a toss-up, really, but I'm not looking forward to this year as much as I would have hoped, unfortunately, even though love Jakeem, but we didn't need 2 years of Super Scroll, a 3-month break, and then more of the same. We could have gotten something different. It would have been nice.
Yeah.
One of our guys locally said that since Goblin King had the Infinity Gauntlet, he should have been able to pick 5 powers. One for each stone, right?
That's 6.
That's 6, yeah.
Well, even better.
Was that Zach?
Hey, so he should be able to pick 4 powers, a team ability, and then like a size change or like a movement change. There you go.
Yeah, and then make him 800 points.
Yeah.
Just a different combat symbol?
Yeah.
No, I like your thinking, Brett. It needs to be like 150 top dial for 10 clicks of health. Perfect.
I don't have anything to say to that.
Other than you would play it. You would play it.
You're right. You're right.
We're glad Daniel's not the game designer, the dial designer.
We really
trust me.
If Dan was the dial designer, based on what I've heard from his channel and just being on his channel a couple of times, Heroclix would be akin to actual chess with naps in between.
Yeah.
I feel like this game really needs more can't use. People are using stuff way too much right now in the meta.
Yeah. There's too many opportunities for your opponent.
To do things. Anything.
Tom, your thoughts?
The way I would characterize it is that I think that at last year's Worlds, it felt like there were several very good options, and then a handful of unorthodox options that still a lot of people were buying into. Whereas this year, it feels like there are a few really good options, and a larger number of harder to predict, half-baked or 80% baked ideas that just don't feel like they've fully found themselves. And I feel like it's hard to say.
Like maybe those pieces have a chance, but they don't have this year, right?
And of course, what if just gave us an awful lot of really interesting stuff that looks interesting on paper, but as we know, it isn't always easy to transfer what's on paper in practice in this game, and so it's hard to know how a lot of that stuff's gonna pan out. So, is it better this year or last year? I feel like last year's better because I feel like there were more known knowns, and that puts you in a better position to be able to build the best team that you feel you can to face the best teams that you feel you may come up against. But I think there are elements to both that have merit.
All right. Okay. Yeah, and I do have to echo the sentiment that as far as diversity is concerned, if I kind of look at the meta personally, and a lot of people know me, I'm not going to generally play what's expected. I'm going to play something off to the right or off to the left. But even if I kind of look at it and go, I'm not comfortable with, playing anything to the right, to the left because of what sits in the center, it's time to consider it kind of a rough meta. Now, I don't consider it as what I like to call poisonous as the Ghost Rider meta, because the Ghost Rider meta existed to react to the Justice League team base. The Justice League team base with its 3 actions, possible 18 damage, like
really quick,
facilitated a rules change, right? So
really quick, talk about the Ghost Rider team, just in case some viewers who weren't,
And that was going to be my next thing. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, prior to several rule changes, the way the Ghost Rider team worked, or what we call the Ghost Rider meta, team bases had come out. And team bases, when they first showed up, were 1 action per 100 points of team base. Have fun with that, because a 300-point Justice League gets 3 actions. In addition, the damage depletion modifier didn't exist. So whatever damage was on there, every attack, you got it. The Ghost Rider, what it would do was it would take, and I believe it was the first actual click on the Bat Belt, would allow you to take a double power action in order to move that dial to whatever power.
Flurry.
Yeah.
You changed it to +2 stats and flurry.
Yeah, you get +2 to your stats and flurry. You'd use the Heroes for Hire ATA, which back then, prior to an errata, allowed you to take an action as a free action. And it was a series of things where it's just like the Ghost Rider attacks you for 12 damage in a single turn.
And handcuffs you.
And handcuffs you because utility ability.
Yeah.
So basically, it was a 2-turn meta.
Yeah, it was like a shootout.
Yeah.
If you imagine a Wild Western shootout in Heroclix form, that's kind of what that meta was.
I mean, I remember after that, for like even like a couple of years, I still try to do it every once in a while. I'm like, oh yeah, it's all about that first turn alpha strike, kill everything on the first turn. And I forget, oh wait, that's not possible anymore. I can't just kill out my entire opponent's team or like cripple it on the first turn. Like,
or is it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Don't. You're not creative enough, sir.
No.
You forget ultra heavy objects still exist.
Well, I mean, okay, you're right.
For a little bit.
Not in the same way that we used to have, like with the Ghost Rider. I mean, like after that, for a while, I was just trying to get a big heavy piece over there in their face and kill something, to deal with like the team-based stuff. I tried to do it with Bertha for a while, or Big Barda.
Big Barda was another option. Then,
if Big Bertha could do it, then I obviously was playing her wrong.
This is the figure. OP right here.
Yeah.
I like Big Bertha.
She's great.
Yeah, she's great.
But she doesn't do what I just said.
Yeah, she doesn't do what we're talking about.
She's not the Bat Belt Barda Bomb.
She does it for cheaper.
Anyway, but
the Bat Belt Bertha Bomb was the less popular variant.
And getting kind of back to what we were talking about is, if it's a meta where even myself, the clown prince of whatever the hell, is going to actually stay on path with the meta, that I don't personally consider that a better meta.
I got something for you.
I like to be a little bit more creative myself. But Edward really wanted to be the last one on this one. He's gonna probably prove me wrong to some degree, or say, hey, Jason, whatever you think you're gonna play is wrong. Go ahead, Mr. Shell.
Okay. I just put up a show not too long ago, and I was sort of challenging a lot of some thoughts that came up. And so you can go listen to that show, pandering, because that's what I do on these more popular YouTube channels. I want you to look at this. Guess what these are?
Is that what the ID cards that are cut, or they're currently in the game?
These are all of the ID cards.
Okay.
Just except probably -2 to 3 ID cards. Guess how many I obtained during the last meta?
All of them?
Just about all of them.
Yeah.
Okay. I am probably holding in my hand about $800 worth of plastic. Okay.
That's
Not
it.
for
You
long.
want the bad news on some of that right
No,
now?
I already know that. All right. But here's my point is, the last year's meta was highly inaccessible. Highly inaccessible.
Yeah.
Because let me just pull some cards off the top, okay? I got a Wonder Woman ID. I throw that up in the ground. I got a level 7. I actually got 2 level 7s. I got an Ares card, like if you wanted to play that. Lex Luthor card, Atom ID card. That's like $100 right there. Like Nightwing card. Like I can just go like this if I wanted to, okay? And just be like, make it rain cards. Tell me a player that was serious that wasn't going to drop money on getting those cards if you're running Quinjet. And even now, like Nightwing ID card, Atom ID card, Superman ID card, Batman ID card, these are still staples. The Spider-Man ID card, which you would have to be like two Origins back to get now is rotating back and being a staple. Like if I look at the accessibility, the current meta, as stupid as it is financially more accessible, and that is why we're seeing in our rocks, we're seeing more upsets, we're seeing more new players, we're seeing more new faces, because the meta is accessible. Not the best. Please let me make that clear. It is not the best. It is more economically accessible. You can spend $300 and have a meta team. You can get Jakeem for under 100. You can get Faust for under 100. You can get, for right now, Goblin King for under 100.
I'm going to pause you for a second. We have a few Canadian fans. This is U.S. dollars, guys.
U.S. dollars. U.S. dollars. Sorry, I forgot. You're international. You're global.
Yeah.
That's usually like a whole people's month of work and their paycheck right there. But
I just exchanged my trip money, and I am sad right now. So
I feel for you.
Yeah.
But when we look at that, even if you did have, let's look at the zombie team base. How many characters on that zombie team base were $80 each?
Yeah.
You know, like if you could find them. So when I look at that, and I look at the Pusheen guy, and he got into top 8, and he was rocking Proteus, I'm like, bravo to you. Like, I need to give you like a freaking Peace Prize or a freaking Nobel Prize in Science, because you took the time to do some math that the rest of us didn't. Even in the finals with Derek, when he introduced Icebox, which, I mean, all of us commentated, said this sucker was awesome. You know, and
yeah, I don't think a single one of us who casted on that was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
This is amazing. And he figured out how to make it work. And so from a tech perspective, the problem with this year is that we had a week to deal with What If. The problem isn't about the accessibility of the meta. The problem is that we've had a week to panic, buy, get, sell half our soul, give blood plasma, you know, maybe even go hook on the side if you're in a really bad situation. To go,
I just bought a case and got a few pieces online. I don't know what you did.
Yeah, I'm just saying is that it's not the best because we haven't had time to think it through. If we had 3 weeks, or even if WizKid said, "Hey, this is going to be legal for Origins. We respect you, meta players. Let's look. Here's the whole set. 3 weeks out. It would have been fun."
What if it wasn't in? We would just see, I mean, like, really, there's, you know, a handful of pieces from that set that we might see. So let's just exclude that set really quick, though.
And that would have been fun.
100% true. You know, everything would be super accessible, and that would have been, you know, it would just be Jakeem and Faust and like a few other pieces that are really hard to get, but it wouldn't be like last year's meta was like literally every team was like a couple $100 and completely different. So if you were to have like a varying of a bunch of meta teams, you were all over the place.
But and you're touching on it. It is like the teams can be all over the place.
Yeah.
But here's the big problem that I see is that if we are all relegating to I got to get 15 super rares to win, then the game isn't about the rest of what the figures we're playing. Like, it's just about super rares and chases. Like, you know, outside of some of the shifting focus figures, majority of the meta has not been commons or uncommons or rares. All right. It's been super rares, chases, and con exclusives and stuff like that. If we're looking at from a time perspective, last year's Origins, we had 3 to 4 weeks prep. You know, there wasn't a set that just dropped on top of us that changed everything. So I look at it as, if WizKid said What If wasn't in, yes, Jakeem has firmly got his foot planted at the top of the mountain with the flag, waving it. But because of all this crap that's inducted, we don't know what's going to come in from an upset, not from the fact that, oh, that's not legitimate. It's the fact we never had enough time to test to see what was good and what was bad. So that's it. Making it rain with the cards for last time. There you go.
Oh, man, I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. But yes, no, that is correct. Financially accessible right now is definitely a thing that meta is invariably. So we're going to move on to the next question in the chat. Knowing how well positioned Goblin King and Jakeem are, what support do you guys think it gives one team the edge over other builds? And I'm going to let the guys at T3 take the lead on this one.
The support I think everyone's going to play is Faust. The support that I'm going to play, if I play with it, is not going to be that. I decided that the pieces that I enjoy to play mattered more to me than winning, which is really weird for me. But I just was sick of Faust. So I think Faust is the answer that most of us are going to say.
I would say the best support for either of those at this point are ID cards and or the entities. Are we saying entities are included as part of that support, right? So
sure. I almost consider them pants on the character nowadays. So
yeah, exactly. But I honestly, I think the round table, not the teleporter and the entities and ID cards are the best thing that combos with those, and then other figures are, extra.
Yeah. All right, Brett, do you have anything you want to add, or?
I think a lot of pieces that we'll also see, like Overdrive, Green Lantern with that barrier. There are a few other really, really small pointed characters that we're gonna see, but other than that, not really. It's just the entities, Faust, and those handful of pieces.
Right.
Anyone think of anything else?
Bizarro.
Well, Bizarro, yeah.
That was one of the handful of pieces.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Okay. Aaron, anything you think is missing in the conversation?
Well, I think it's an interesting question because it's not about what is everybody else going to play. It's what one figure or two figure do you think put the winning team over the edge, right?
Yeah.
So one figure that's very good that I don't think anybody's been talking about recently is Nighthawk Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's very well positioned in competitive play. I don't say meta because that is open-ended as far as interpretation, but I think that's a very good piece. I think there's, Ace the Bat Hound is another piece that people kind of sleep on. There's going to be pieces that are popular, but I think it's going to be the surprise piece that people don't think about or kind of overlook. Like maybe Mephisto at 45 points. That's could be the deciding factor between first and second place.
All right, Dave, you seem to have an opinion because you're waving it in my face.
Oh no. So I had two that kind of I thought were fun. Haha Joker, while not a support piece, is he does so much, man.
He's a support piece.
Yeah, he's a support piece.
But I'm saying he doesn't have a lot of support powers. How about that?
Supports by putting
Starts without wit.
Yeah, but most players damage him pretty quickly to get him onto other stuff.
Fools.
He heals back to it also.
Yeah, exactly.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I'll be back.
Man, I like this guy a lot. I don't think anybody's gonna play him, but
no, I think I like him too.
I feel like he would have been perfect for that Ghost Rider meta.
Oh God, he was still doing enough tax to still kill everything on your team with him.
If there was even one key base in the meta right now, immediately throw a Peace Machine.
Well, I think that it's cool the Peace Machine can sit on your War Machine ID card on your
Exactly.
teleporter, and if you've got a 50-point character and you go against a big tentpole, just do one of those little "I'm better suited for these guys," and now they deal you 3 damage.
Yeah. So while he may not be a main force option, he can, like you said, come off that ID card and completely change a matchup around. So,
all right, Jason. Oh, whose camera has gone out? I'm not sure for Liz. Dan.
So I would say my first thought would be, what if makes the world's meta 100% better? Otherwise, we were looking at staring at breaking down Alan Scott's barriers and multiples.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think Alan Scott loses his viability from quite a bit. So the question was, what other support pieces do I think is good?
Yep.
Right, Jason?
Yep. Yeah.
So don't forget the big 2x2 buddies in the 15, 25, 20-point colossals. So so much goodness there. Part of my team building, this is weird, I said it on my podcast, is the team has to look good on the map to make me want to play it. And things like Solaris and that Maridroid look very good on the map for multiple reasons.
Because Maridroid is so big. Looks great. Amazing. And that bottom, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the finely sculpted bottom.
Bam!
Dude, when I opened it up, I couldn't believe how much bigger he was than the Atom. Oh my god.
Yeah. He's like this.
It's huge.
Yeah. It's huge.
So bad. So bad right now.
Yeah, he's amazing. I was measuring versus my other guy. I think he's the biggest, one of the biggest 2x2s they've ever made. If I look back here,
The only thing that might be able to compete would be like the old ones they used to do, like when the game first started, like old school Sinestro, old school Sentry. But I haven't seen those in a while.
Honestly,
Yeah, I mean,
Sinestro's is the size as current Sinestros. So.
Yeah, Anti-Monitor
Yeah, I mean-
might have been bigger.
yeah, I don't know.
2x2.
I think I don't have my Maridroids upstairs with me, but I
And
mean,
of course, your old school Sinestro is broken. It's a 100% guarantee.
I have one in the box that is completely intact. I just have this one on the shelf.
Not until you, like the second you open it, it's broken.
That's why he's never getting open.
Oh, man.
Never removed from box, man. Never removed from box.
Do not remove from box. Ed, your thoughts on as far as support for Jakeem and Gabo? Do you think that's the deciding factor? Or?
Well, here's the thing you got to understand. Goblin King is the support for Jakeem.
Exactly.
I mean, like,
Damn, he got my
I
answer.
was waiting for somebody to say it.
I was like, I thought, I mean, sorry, I had to step away for a brief moment, but I mean, like, I thought that was like the freaking, you know, right off the bat, that's what everybody's going to look at. Because I look at it like this. Goblin King comes in, you can play him with the entity, play him without the entity, you can play, you know, whatever else with Jakeem. You can do whatever little lineup you want with on top of Jakeem. Doesn't matter. You could just play Goblin King and Jakeem, and it's like, oh, I have a Night Nurse, or I have another TKer, or I have this or that, or this or that. It literally does not matter. It comes down to how many ID cards do I want to play? Am I launching a tank, or am I not launching a tank? Am I like just, you know, throwing out ID cards, making it rain like I did like 10 minutes ago? Like, what are you doing? Oh, like I'm using the Supreme Intelligence, so I have willpower on Jakeem. So that gives me an extra blankety blank points so I can shove in 2 little pog makers or the penguin or something. You know, it doesn't matter. It literally does not matter what you add to Goblin King in Jakeem, as long as you have a game plan that goes for it. Because, oh, I run out there and Goblin King TKs out my Jakeem Thunder. Jakeem Thunder hypersonic speeds around, goes in a loop. Here's TKer number 2 and brings them right back. Let's start this all over again. Good day.
I have to ask, since you've taken my answer anyway, is this the year that people learn the word Earthbound neutralized?
Shoot. If you haven't learned that with the pick of power, where were you during the Super Scroll days?
Just checking.
And
Like
engineering.
weak sauce, homie. If you don't know that,
I know that. I'm just making sure that is this the year where more of the community learns those words.
oh, yeah.
I had 2 distinct instances where I had folks with a Nick Fury on his last click, give him a second action token. And proceed two distinct instances in competitive play where that happened. So
Wow.
I know of at least 2 people that are familiar with Earthbound Neutralized.
There is, ladies and gentlemen, such thing as learning the hard way.
Yeah.
The worst part is these were some pretty good players
Oh,
Yeah.
who have won events.
That came up today in my tournament. That guy's like, I'll push, and he hit, took a Mystics. I was like, all right, now you have Earthbound. Like,
push.
your dude dies. Sorry.
Bad news, bro.
Yeah, ignore pushing damage.
All right, Jay, your thoughts?
I don't think if anybody heard anybody mention Mixie for some reason. I don't know why.
105.
Because
He's
you
105.
always mix
That's
that
why.
pulse wave. It always misses.
Yeah. I'm 0 for 78 on his pulse wave, so yeah, I can agree with
I
that.
don't know. I think
Every time I
Maybe-
practice him, I just whiff that opening pulse wave.
Yeah.
I just have particularly good luck with his pulse wave, but
Maybe.
I mean, neither Jakeem or Goblin King have access to colossal pushing or anything of the equivalent.
Well, real brief rebuttal on that. Mixie is a 105 combination thanks to Kevin DeFruz. You have freaking Frogman, you have Mitsuplik. You have to play both of them to get him activated turn 1. If not, you're waiting until turn 3 or further before he's activated. And if you're waiting that long, I've already waxed him off the map. He's a non-factor. And so not only that, you're talking about a 10 attack on an 18 defense, which automatically does not put the statistics in the favor of Mixie anymore.
The only thing that works well is if he's got a big die sitting on the side.
Yeah, and you have to roll well. You have to roll 4, 5, or 6, which again is a 50-50 chance. But if you roll a 1 or 2, your opening salvo with Mixie is probably gone. And then let's just say you do have to use that dice in your opening salvo with Mixie. You pretty much lost one of your number 1 insurances. With Mitsuplik going from that point forward, you don't have time in the meta to have a tempo to take the power action, get another die out, and there's nothing that he can passively do when he's on those clicks that are really useful outside of change size. So, I mean, Mitsuplik unfortunately got forced out the meta the moment that the Envy Relic got kicked out because he can't get a 12, 13, 14 real easily as a replacement value because you still have to deal with Nighthawk Prime. I mean, we already talked about it. Nighthawk Prime is going to hard lock your values, and you still have Scarlet Witch in the meta. So, like, the main reason Mitsuplik has fallen off is because his stats are insufficient and his setup is too expensive when we have a rush down meta. Just real.
All right.
Edward's so fired up.
I know it.
I don't know what to do.
Just sit back and listen, man.
Does anything going on for Edward that does
I see you, Symbiote.
fired up or not on? Because this is I plan around this guy nowadays. Like last year, after I was part of the part of Ryan Morgan's podcast, I was watching Edward in action. It's like I planned around this. There are some ordering things. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but certain times I'm letting Edward go last. Because, like, okay, I know I've got to reorganize myself, get planned out, get some things on the go. In addition to which, I also got to look at Tom and be like, Tom is my devil's advocate. I'm Tom's devil's advocate at times too. So we needed some time to say, Tom, is there any support characters that any of these guys might have missed that you might be on top of, sir?
Not really. I mean, I think that the catch-all that was mentioned, the handful of characters, probably covers a lot of, like, I don't know if anyone's called out Rennet Tilly specifically, but she's obviously there. Jean Grey is still a great option in a world of ID characters. I really love the whole Jean Grey boomerang. I always have. I don't know if anyone's mentioned that we've got, between Dupe and Domino, we've got some nice cheap probability control options. And although not everyone's thinking theme first, if you did happen to build a theme team and you got 15 points left over, then there's now an ability to get Empower or Enhancement onto that team without breaking theme with a tiny little electronic monkey. So,
yeah,
those are all options.
All right.
Yeah, I think the last point on Mixie is that with Jakeem and Goblin King on the same team, Mixie just dies in 2 turns with double poisons.
Yeah,
because if you're close enough
Poison,
to
oh, you're on Pulse Wave. Poison, you're not off a Pulse Wave.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, Jay.
These things happen. All right. So we've already covered that one. And now this one's a lightning round question, and it's very easy to answer, actually. Is Cosmic Spider-Man going to see more play as an ID call-in or as a main build? Very quick answer. Start with Aaron. ID or main build?
ID.
Dan.
ID.
Dave.
ID.
Ed.
ID, gotta say it.
Jay.
ID.
The beautiful Mr. Brett.
ID.
Symbio.
Yeah, ID.
Tom.
It's definitely going to be on a lot of teams, guys. I'm thinking a lot of teams built around that Cosmic Spider-Man.
Tom,
Someone did it. Thank God. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was advocate for the sake of devil's
yeah, no, it's
not acceptable.
He's going to be on the ID card.
Yeah, 100% across the board. He's an ID colored call.
No doubt about it.
All right.
Do we have a Mary Clixed debate about that?
Yeah, that'll be a short debate.
Dude, here's how the debate goes. He's gonna be a main point character, because I'm
Right.
No, okay.
Yeah, no, I could form a Clixed debate argument around it. It's like,
Okay,
look, when you pay that kind of money for a piece, do you want to just see him sitting on the side of the board, staring at you, mocking you?
Look.
When I pay that kind of money, I want that guy right there, taking the hits, getting KO'd, losing me the game. That's what I want from my piece.
You stole me.
Hey, somebody might do pretty decent with him in like a 400 limited rock tournament with 20 people at it.
When are they gonna just end
12 people. 12 people.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was 22 generous.
Watch someone play it and then win the world championship playing the piece. I
And
mean,
then we all look like idiots. So we
Okay,
just need to go.
But here's the point: we're all speculating, and speculation is allowed to be wrong.
Look, I always look like an idiot. So
This is why we all podcast and don't win.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, remember when you said that Faust was
bad
bad?
one. How dare you?
Yeah, Faust, he's only 5 clicks. What's his defensive power?
Yeah.
He's not gonna win anything. And then I played against him. It's like, oh my god, what have I told people? Once Edward Berkowitz beat the crap out of me with that team, and it was just like, I have given people terrible information.
See, what we said on 2 Clicks was, man, that's just too much reading. We're not going to go over it.
I remember that.
Too long, didn't read.
Matter, because the first 2 D20s was like Impossible Man. What the fuck does that mean? And Resurrection Man. It's like, oh, okay, well, he's hard to kill. He gets a bunch of new power. Who cares about this guy, right?
Yeah, he didn't have his friends yet at the time.
We ignored what the D20 is doing. It's like, okay, well, look at this dial. What a piece of crap this is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wait, I don't get to play the game against this 5-click dial.
Yeah.
Oh, what have I told people? I think immediately after that Canadian Nationals, after I took that beating, I apologized. I was like, we said some things about Felix Faust. I take them all back. And he worked with Prob at the time, which was even worse.
oh yeah.
Oh,
And then that Rocket Raccoon right after that. Oh.
Sure.
And nobody ever had a problem with Felix Faust again.
Yeah, WizKids sure did make us look at those D20s a little differently after they released.
absolutely. Okay, guys, stop everything. There's a D20 in the pack. Read the card now.
Yeah.
Read it. All right.
God damn it.
So one of the fellows over at the Alpha Strike Clicks wants to he has a question. And I kind of missed him, and I apologize for that. But we've already had a crowded show this week. I don't know if you guys noticed. Do you guys think, and this might also be worthy of a lightning round, do you guys think the Elseworld set will have as many similar sculpts as What If has, or do you think it'll have less? And let's start with Dan.
Yes. Same reason the map didn't have the markings. It's a throwback.
Fair enough. David.
I agree with Dan.
Aaron.
Yes, and shout out to Alpha Strike Heroclix because they said I look good.
You are a beautiful man, Aaron. Ed.
Truthfully, I don't care.
Fair enough.
My coworker does,
That's
but
the
I don't
best
care.
answer here so far.
Jay.
I want to say no based on the very little evidence we have so far.
Okay. Tom.
I agree with Dan.
Let's go with Symbio first.
Yes, I think they're on their 15th anniversary sculpt reuse run, and they're going to keep rolling with that.
What a way to mark the 15th anniversary.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey guys,
Brett?
you guys remember all those sets where they had the similar look?
Yeah. Those old REVs. We're celebrating.
Oh my God.
We're
Everybody
celebrating.
Just quote me.
We're celebrating standing by the bus pose.
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm hoping they don't. Will they?
Waiting for the
Probably.
Potato heads.
Hey, this is lightning round, guys. Come on.
Oh yeah, right. Sorry.
How dare
And
you.
ultimately, as everybody is quoted, I feel like they're going to do it because they're throwback this year's. Hey, remember rookie experience veteran guys?
Yeah.
All right. Next up, and I think we're getting down to the wire here, guys. So we're last couple questions.
Right.
Nathaniel White. Oh, and it's Tom. Tom, why did you not take this opportunity to share all of your wonderful charts? Do you see how many people are on this channel?
I know. How long would this show have been?
If we had to go over Tom's charts, this
You
show
have
would
charts?
We love Tom's charts. I love
Thanks,
Tom's
everyone.
charts.
I'll update you on more charts next week or the week
Show
after.
of hands, who doesn't love Tom's charts?
Well, anyone
I
who's
would
not
like
seen
to see your charts in the newsletter.
them. All right.
And that is one thing I think I'm actually going to consider one day is just like releasing a document of Tom's charts in one single doc.
I want on that email distro. Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Including the Infinity Challenge episode.
Yeah, that was fun. Those were some
All
sad
right.
charts.
Michael, love your question in regards to how many you're all playing or running team. We already did the safe or risky teams, so you're going to have to work off of that one. Majestic's Heroclix is wanted to throw in that, first of all, that this is better than yesterday's episode. Patrick Yaboko is behind that channel, and Kevin was on
He
yesterday.
says, it's important to note, he says, full offense meant to yesterday's cast.
Full offense meant to the most offensive person I've ever had on the channel, as I had to make him apologize live.
He does have a question.
He does. And how many are playing Jakeem in Origins or God? But then we already did the safe versus risky challenge. So that's your answer for this.
Look, we want honesty here, though.
And that is our honesty. We're either safe or risky, and Jakeem is part of it.
Hey, we can lightning round that if you want.
I'm playing
Lightning
Jakeem.
round.
Does that help?
What's that?
I said I'm playing Jakeem. Does that help?
Yeah, but you're going to be at home.
I know.
You
But
will
I'll
not
be in spirit.
You will not be drinking with me, and that is the problem. Also, Patrick, I know you're out there. We're going back to the chicken and waffle place.
If I were there, I would not be playing Jakeem. I'll tell you that. I know.
We'd have to discuss that prior to. And also, guys, I do want to take a second. I've got a group of podcasters on the show. Yesterday, I had a great group of high-end players. We are currently sitting at the highest number of live viewers that I've ever had on the channel. So I want to thank all my fellow podcasters for being part of that.
What is the number? Where do I see it?
We're currently at 33 viewers right now. You guys do understand.
That's huge.
It's a Heroclix podcast.
Okay,
33.
My entire audience for my podcast. So I mean,
yeah. I was going
That's
to say,
live.
you understand that when people, other Heroclix podcasts hear our subscriber count, they go, oh, but other YouTube channels hear my podcast, or hear our numbers, like, what? What are you like a peasant?
last month, someone recognized me from my podcast, and I was like, bullshit. Pardon my language. Bullshit.
Full crap. You're full crap.
Like, who are you? Who are you, really?
Yeah, it's weird.
There are some requests in here in regards. Okay, so Patrick has a question that I think is pretty good and worthy of a lightning round. Is meta a noun?
Oh gosh, really?
Or an adjective?
Really? Really,
And
Patrick?
your reaction gets the first lightning round answer to this.
That's you, Edward.
Yep.
That's the West Coast thing, and I'm going to let it meta be a slang term.
Fair
That's my
enough.
answer. Meta is a slang term.
Very
Meta by
third
definition
answer.
is what? What is the definition of meta?
outside
No, you don't want to go there. He's baiting you.
Don't go there. We're doing
It's a
like
trap.
The word meta
It's a
is
trap.
taken from the word metaphysical. Metaphysical being the existence outside of the existence.
Or
Therefore,
side by side.
Meta is the game outside of the game.
Yeah.
And when we refer to the meta game, we are talking about the game outside of the theming, the idea that these are comic book characters. We are thinking strictly in this idea of these bases as an existence outside of the existence.
So it's technically not a person, place, or thing. So it's not a noun.
There you go.
Sorry.
It would be a thing according to that, wouldn't it?
But the meta game itself is, but the word meta is actually neither an adjective or a noun.
Yep.
It's more of a hyphenate.
Yep.
I use it as a verb, so I don't know about you guys.
So you go home and meta?
Yeah, it's a
'Cause I'm
verb for
going
me.
upstairs to meta my wife all night. Wait, what?
Yeah, me and Dan meta the shit out of everything, man.
Okay, there's a question that's been asked several times, and since we've kind of tortured Edward Sheldon with that one and gone on beyond that, two times it's been asked. Diego Pinto de Luz and Samantha Rodriguez Michelin, and this is all on you, Mr. J. Solomon.
Oh, no.
Since an American has won Canadian Nationals, is it on you, Mr. Canadian and U.S. Nationals, to win the U.S. Nationals?
Oh my God, that's a lot of pressure.
My question is, how is an American allowed to play in the Canadian Nationals?
You're so out of it.
But I mean,
Just
shouldn't
ignore
that
Brett.
be a rule? Like,
Because they haven't built a wall.
Yeah.
That would be like totally.
Trump has
this
not been
actually-
president
this
long
is
enough.
Your voting fault. Your president promised walls.
Who wants the wall down south?
It's
Yeah,
going to become
only-
a great wall eventually.
I mean, you would think that it would be.
So
against
wait,
the
are you
rules
saying
to do-
Canadians can't play in the U.S. Nationals, man?
Well, I mean, okay, in this
You
situation,
have to like.
it should be allowed because it's right next to Worlds. So it would be mean to make them show up and then not let them play.
But the
And there's-
Canadian. Okay,
There's
but the
Brett
winner.
making Scott Crampton feel worse again because U.S. Nationals doesn't matter because Worlds is right immediately after it. Aaron, what was your input there?
I was gonna say, but the winners of the Canadian Nationals live right next to Canada, like not that far
Yeah,
away.
It,
I mean,
none of them have been particularly
It's not
far
like-
away. Nick Peterson lives in Ohio. Kenny Pena lives in Jersey.
As does
Adam Cole
Kenji.
lives in. Kenji also lives in Jersey. Adam
Yeah.
Cole lives in Detroit. He's actually further north than some parts of Canada.
Yeah, it's
So-
gradually making its way north. It's going to be difficult to not go
Yeah.
into Canada eventually.
Yeah, Adam lives like, what, 40 minutes from the border? Like, he's almost Canadian,
40
realistically.
minutes? I think it was a 20-minute drive from his place.
No, I've driven it. On highway, it's like 40 minutes. So.
Yeah, but you also got caught in Pennsylvania, so.
No. Oh, shit. Screw you.
Get wrecked. Bad driver.
At least we've got our only ever rock Canadian Nationals.
Yeah, exactly. Tom, Rock Canadian champion, second place. So the top two were Canadian and Rock Canada Cup.
So
And
was
Adam
everyone
Cole.
there except Adam Cole. But it doesn't.
Adam Cole counts. Therefore, U.S. people showed up.
Yeah, U.S. person showed up.
What happened to your grand defender, Rob Barazul?
I assume he must have got a life.
A life. Plane tickets are expensive from west of the country to east of the country.
That's fair.
I mean, and I love this chat right now. Oh man, I got to double check, make sure nothing up has come up on Facebook. But I'm going to give everybody a chance to plug their podcast, guys. First of all, I want to say, great podcast today. It's been it's been a wonderful pleasure talking to guys from other fellow podcasts, and I want to give you guys a chance to talk about your casts and mention them to the fans of Married with Clixed / the Metal Lab. And we're going to start with Mr. Aaron Cantu.
Yeah, so my show is 2 Clicks from KO. You can find us at facebook.com/2 Clicks from KO, spelled all out, 2 Clicks from KO.
Like the shirt.
Or Podbean, yep, like the shirt, podbean.com/2 Clicks from KO. We just relaunched our blog, 2clicksfromko.wordpress.com. Also available on iTunes. Similar spelling, but the clicks is with an X instead of CKS. We are also on YouTube. I don't remember the link because I don't have enough subscribers yet, but I just posted an unboxing video, so go check that out.
All right, awesome. And we're gonna let Dan talk about Clixed Off.
Yeah, so we're me and Dave and Jason was on here. We're on Clixed Off, CLIXED off. So we're facebook.com/Clixed Off, SoundCloud, the same. We're available on all the podcasting apps and all that good stuff. Mix of casual and the meta talk. So yeah, we also have a Facebook discussion group, Clixed Off Heroclix podcast discussion group. we like to encourage viewer listening and viewer participation, even though I shouldn't call it viewers because we're a sound-based one, so it's listener.
I always just stare at the screen.
Right. So, no, thanks for letting us on and give us a listen, and maybe you can be on our show too.
I know I personally have been on at least twice, and I am usually rife with Canadian goose jokes when I get on. It's there's like a curse every time I'm biking to work, and I almost get tackled by a Canadian goose. These guys get in contact with me. It's like, can you come on the episode today? Dave, anything you want to add on to the two clicks or the Clixed Off podcast mentions, or
listen? Like I said, I mean, you don't have to be like a rock winner or like the world champion to be on. Like, we just want to have interesting discussions about Heroclix with just about anybody. So, I mean, like, so we don't need a winner's interview. I mean, that's, some people's thing. We just kind of make it like, yeah, there he is. So, I mean, like, we just kind of make it like guys hanging out, just talking about clicks. That's the goal. So
awesome. All right, Edward.
Yeah, I do Starting Over podcast on YouTube, and the Quarry only hosted on 8C Realms. I also have David with me on the Quarry if I'm not doing a live show. Pretty much check me out at either of those places. I could do something like buy my shirt. It's in the link below the Phoenix Nest. Link below my description of my episode. So buy my shirt. I need money for more clicks, please.
And over at the T3 podcast, Mr. Symbio and Brett.
First off, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for having us on, and that all of you guys, I listen to all of your content, and I would also like to say that if without all you guys, we wouldn't have started our podcast and YouTube channel. So props to everybody for doing what you do. Also shout out to Alpha Strike and all the other channels out there that aren't on here. But anyway, you can find us on YouTube. We post games, interviews, meta talk, but also casual stuff. We cover Star Wars, Destiny, Heroclix, and some Pokemon. And you can find us at T3 Gaming. And then you can find us our bi-weekly podcast, which is audio. But we might be switching to YouTube.
I like this.
Yeah,
we should be doing this.
This is a cool way to do it that Heroclix does. So we might switch. But you can find us on iTunes under T3 podcast, and you can also find us at T3 blog, Podbean.
Podbean?
Yeah, Podbean.
Yep. And I think we said we have a Facebook page too.
Yeah, we have a Facebook.
Go on there, just throw whatever you want on there.
Tabletop Talk T3.
Yeah. Just pictures. You know what? I only want pictures of Namor. That's it.
Oh God.
Chris Rutherman, your call to action occurred. It's like he's awakened from his slumber, and
I want to. Yours is tabletopgaming.podbean.com. So if you want people to find you, that's what it is.
Yeah. Thanks, Aaron.
No problem.
Of course, everybody's content that we just described, we do have specific links in the description. We have the Starting Over podcast in there. We have the SoundCloud for Clixed Off. We have Aaron's 2clicksfromko.podbean.com link in there, and we have T3's YouTube channel in the description below if you're watching in the archive or you have to be watching live as well. Jason Alvey has had to deal with some family obligations. That's why he had to jump out of here fairly early, and he kind of went and ninja'd his way out. Tom or Jay, anything you want to say before we go out? Tom, you first.
I wish I could be at Worlds to enjoy it with everybody, but I have no doubt that it will be a fine, wonderful time for everybody who's there. There'll be things to gripe about. There'll be things to celebrate about. There'll be a lot to talk about. So it's going to be a great week in Clicks. I can't wait to hear about it.
I'm so mad at you.
I know. I'm kind of me too. I know, me too.
Oh, by the way, guys, the voice you're hearing online is the same in person. That's the part you're actually missing.
Yeah.
If you could just narrate every action I do during a game, I think I would. I think I could die happy. Yeah.
I could sit. This is my contribution to Worlds. Can be commentating on live streams.
I'm gonna have Tom.
Dude, that would be amazing.
That would be cool.
Tom is gonna record my pickup powers before I leave. I'm creating an app with it.
Soundboard. It's a soundboard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I would just say Tom and Ed would be the greatest commentators for live streams of
Best
matches
voice ever. Yeah.
I
don't know. if you look at the archives from Rock Worlds last year, me and Tom did have some side by side.
Yeah,
And
we had some fun.
I didn't want to stop Tom at times because it's just like, oh, this is great. For one, I get a break because I've been doing this all day.
Yeah,
And
that's
two,
true.
It's Tom's voice.
Yeah. But mostly it was the fact that you needed a break.
I would just like to point out that I had to tell Micah who Majestics was in the click. Or in the chat, because he didn't know. He's like, "Who's this Majestics guy?"
It's okay. These things
Yeah, it's
happen.
okay.
Sometimes new players exist. By the way, Micah, the guy running Majestics Heroclix, his name is Patrick Yaboko. He is a 2-time world Heroclix champion. Only 2 of those exist right now, himself and Mr. Daniel Jones.
Also, Team Worlds and Rock Cup champion.
He's also Team Worlds.
Yeah.
He was Team Worlds, and Rock Cup champion in the same year at one point.
He's good.
Patrick actually,
he's quite good.
Patrick has the most titles, and I think the second is Scott.
Scott's a close second. Yeah, but Patrick's got had a long run of super qualifier wins the same year that he won in Worlds and
that don't count.
He's
that don't count. Like that's not the same.
He's the Wayne Gretzky of our.
He says that don't count now, but catch him on the quarry.
No. Like hold on, wait, no slide when I say it like this. A Super Q regional, those are legit in their own right. I'm like straight props to you, son. You've done better than I have. Second place too many times. You win a world championship, you win Rock, you win a Wizard World, different category. Completely different category. The number of people you have to face, the quality of people you have to face, the freaking whiz kids acting silly or just scheduling. Like way different category means it's weighted differently. It's its own thing. So like those titles matter to me more than like I won 8 SQs. If you did that still, that's an accomplishment. But still, that doesn't equal a world championship.
I think I'd put it in different.
Who timestamped me getting Edward Sheldon to backpedal?
I think I'd put it this way. It's 2014, Patrick crushed everybody. 2015, he let other people win.
2016, he came back and reminded us who's boss.
Right. So, I think it's Patrick at any point could just remind us that he could beat us all.
Patrick, I'd really like you to not do that this time.
Yeah.
Odd number years would be us, okay?
Keep the sponsorship money coming, buddy.
Yeah.
On this, now that we're done praising my sponsor, Jay, is there anything you want to say before we head out?
My only prevalent thing to say is that I have articles about Origins on Majestics Apex Insiders.
Wait, what's Majestics?
What is Majestics? Well, MajesticsCCG.com/Apex-Insiders is actually one of our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of our longest running sponsors, and at $3 a month you get access to the brains of some of the greats in the world of HeroClix, including Jay Solomon and some of the great champions of recent, including Eastern Brock, Paris Gordon, and some Aaron Kent, who's a regular contributor to the site as well. Also, check out hcrealms.com, and while you're there, check out the shop section. Put in the coupon code Mary for 10% off your purchase. A little bit of a kickback comes into the Married with Clicks channel. But guys, Origins is around the corner. We got to think about our teams. Thinking about our teams involves a specific thing, and that thing, ladies and gentlemen, is practice. And I hope everybody is on their game for this, because I got your list in the chat. Check your order, because when you're getting ready for Origins, one thing is going to really help. Take that team that might be very similar to others, but might put it above, and that's practice, because practice makes your team better. What do you think, Aaron?
There we go. Yep.
Yeah, practice makes your team better. Practice makes...
Dan, what do you think?
Practice makes your team better. If your opponent knows your team better than you do, you will have a bad day.
David, what do you think?
I think practice makes your team better.
Edward, what do you think?
I think if WizKids didn't give me a week, I would have more practice. But hey, I'm just some dude on the internet.
What does practice do?
Oh, no. I guess
Full, bro. Full for me.
I was like, practice, sir, makes your team from basic to excellent.
There we go. That's a boy. What do you think?
I think all things considered, practice, in fact, makes your team better.
Brett, your thoughts?
Hey, guys, practice makes your team better. If you're not practicing, you're not playing Clixed.
Symbio?
Practice makes your team better.
Oh, someone said it, straight up.
Yeah.
Straight up. Tom?
Practice makes your team better.
Tom always makes the outro the best, ladies and gentlemen.
Burning.
Thank you very much for all my fellow podcasters. Thank you very much yesterday for all the fellow players. Guys, we will see you at Heroclix World Championships at Origins Game Fair starting Wednesday, June 14th. See you guys there. Thank you guys very much for joining me. Have a good night.
Cool.
Nighty night.